One, two, 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2. Let's see what we got. Let me know if y'all can hear me, man. We live, man. Another late night live. I've been on one with this one, gang. Late night live. We in here. Charles Brown with the late night live. I see you prime time in the building. Late night live, man. This is gonna be interesting. This gonna be interesting. Let me see who comes in the building. I see you prime time. Listen, man. Late night live. Let me know. You can hear me, Prime. Let me know. This one. But I did say I was gonna probably do this. I was supposed to do this way earlier today, but I was like, nah, let me do some other stuff. I put up that Corey Holcomb video, right? I got some more videos in store. I got some Kanye coming. Let me know how I sound, gang. Let me know if y'all can hear me clearly. Let me know what it sound like. We're gonna have some fun with this one, dog. I'm gonna be 100 with you. Salute. Positive vibes in the building. Mary in the building. How I sound, Mary? What up, Shorty? Raven in the building. Neen Field. Listen. Hyman Lawan. I can barely see because it's so small, but listen. I'm gonna have fun with this one, gang. This one happened. This one, salute. This is where I want to start with this. And we're gonna be here for a little while, gang. Get you some nourishment. We're gonna be here for a little while, gang. What had happened was, unbeknownst to me and the whole world, salute to, I believe it's Danny from the Stop, right? Danny from the Stop. Salute to Danny from the Stop. I do watch Danny from the Stop. I watch a lot of his videos. I don't even have to watch the Joe Budden podcast because Danny from the Stop keeps me informed on Mona, Joe, Ish, Ice, whoever else is on there. So salute to Danny from the Stop. I do have to admit that that's where this started from. That screen over there, you see a screenshot of a video. It's called One Drake Fan versus 5 Kendrick fans, right? You already know how that's going to go, gang. Either it's going to make you really mad or really madder than mad. But at the end of the day, it promises to be entertaining. Now, what I want to say about this video, Danny from the Stop, I got more information on this today, right? Salute to the homie, man. Listen, this not going to be no disrespect, but this going to be a good conversation. Salute to the homie, Jay Roebuck. Roebuck, did I say his name right? I hope I said his name right. Jay Roebuck. I do not want to disrespect homie. And he's a very clean cut, very positive individual. I already was following him. I probably followed him from I saw that I see you Afro. Am I saying that right? I seen that he responded to me. I just got that video today. I literally just watched that video before I went live. That's probably why I didn't go earlier, because he shouted me out and I watched his response to I went in the comments. So Danny from the Stop, I know half of y'all don't know what the hell, like what the hell's going on, gang? So Danny from the Stop got this great idea, gang. It's marketing genius, gang. Marketing genius, gang. He said, I'm going to get one Drake fan, smarty Yachty nigga, right? I'm going to get a smarty Yachty nigga, and he going to tear these K-bots up. So listen, we all know that there ain't a lot of people out there defending Drake. Let's just be honest, and we're going to talk about that. It's so much to unpack in this video, gang. If you on this channel, you know what I do. You know it's so much to unpack. I don't even know where to start, but I'm going to start at the start. Danny from the Stop. Salute to Danny from the Stop. He got the brilliant idea to make this video. He ran out of space. He said, I'm going to get one Drake fan and have 5 K-bots debate him. Now, for you to even be a Drake fan, you got to have some kind of, to even go into a situation where 5 guys going to debate you, you got to be kind of confident, right? You got to kind of have some kind of wherewithal that you think you can hold your own, so you're going to come in prepared. Now, there was a lot said in that video. So he hit up, I watched Jay Roebuck's video, right? And please, if I'm saying his name wrong, Jay Roebuck. Yep. I see Mike. He kept it respectful. I'm going to be respectful. Jay Roebuck in the building. I see you, Jay. I appreciate you, gang. Listen, and you held your own, bro. And I want you in the comments. Please be in the comments. But we're going to have this conversation. So Jay Roebuck was asked by Danny from the Stop to respectfully debate 5 Kendrick fans. So when I saw that thumbnail, I was like, oh boy, this is gonna be awful, because for you to even bring up 5 Kendrick fans off the rip, for you to have to start that conversation, these 5 Kendrick fans probably not gonna be that sharp if you need 5 of them, right? If you need 5 niggas to debate one nigga, these niggas can't be too sharp. So the title of my video is, and listen, I'm not gonna disrespect nobody that was in the thing, and I'm not gonna say they weren't sharp. Some of them have some really great points, and this, that, and the third, right? But the reason this video says it's rigged, right? Because for one, you can't start a debate from the rip. And I saw your video, Jay, with the timer, right? First of all, if you're giving the Drake fan. I'm gonna play the whole video. We're gonna be here, but you're giving the Drake fan all of the advantage. First things first, if you're sitting down with a timer, these guys have to adhere to the timer, and the Drake fan gets to call the narratives of every question, and the Kendrick fans have to respond within the timer, right? So if we watched the video, and it was maddening, gang, it was tough. It was tough to watch because listen, like I say, man, it was tough to watch because these guys, and if I'm not loud enough, let me know. But these guys, they had one arm tied behind their back. You got to understand what you're dealing with. When Jay came in, he already had the 5, I believe it was 4 or 5 topics that he was going to discuss. He already had them, right? He already had them, this, that, and the third. He already know what he's going to talk about, so he has time to prepare, which is fine. If you're going to come in, be prepared, right? But if I get 5 Drake fans and you give me a timer and you give me the narratives that I'm gonna create, and you say now you got to debunk them, I'm already at a disadvantage because you can state your case as I'm thinking about it. The clock is ticking, and then when I respond, you already got your response because it's your case, right? So at the end of the day, what I'm doing is trying to play catch up and figure out what angles to go with this situation. So when I'm looking at it, Danny from the stop is a genius because he knew this was going to be tough for a guy to come in and try to defend points of a guy. He has no idea what the questions are going to be. And even if he does, we're just meeting for the first time in debate. And I know this is how they do it in collegiate situations, but this issue is so in depth. You can't just have a conversation like, yeah, shake hands and let's debate. This ain't that, because there's too many variables with this conversation to just say shake hands and go, and I'm going to time you. No. Right there, the guys were at a disadvantage. I know Jay said he didn't meet these guys prior to. He walked in the studio and he sat down and he shook hands and whatever, So, for one, most of these guys aren't used to debating from what you can see, right? A lot of these guys were spouting internet, what you want to call them, super, I don't know, myths or whatever, like I don't know, superstitions or what have you, what you want to call them, conspiracy theories. But you can't win an argument with conspiracy theories. You got to start from the start. And so what this whole thing was about was Jay's very first topic was Drake is the most influential hip hop artist in hip hop, current artist in hip hop right now. So right there, they should have stopped him right there and told him to define hip hop before we even get started, because Jay's whole argument was all about the Billboard and the charts. That's not hip hop. So right there, the argument is skewed. We already starting off wrong. All right. Hip hop started. I saw Jay. I saw the whole video, Jay. I watched it with wifey. I went up to Cape Cod yesterday. We drove up to Cape Cod, salute Cape Cod. I had a great time up there, right? Nice beaches, good food, seafood, this, that, and the third. They got some good ass clam chowder, right? But when we gonna say Drake is the most influential current or otherwise artist in hip hop, we got to define hip hop. And when I saw you define, you said, I believe you said respect to your dad. I love it. You said your dad, I believe you said he was a DJ or something to that effect in hip hop back in the day. And I respect that. I'm an old head too, and I know a little bit about hip hop too. So the very first situation we got to have with this is defining hip hop, right? If we start talking about the streams, conversation already over, because we can't have no hip-hop conversation. You can't be the most influential hip-hopper because you got a lot of streams. So we gonna start there. We not gonna do that. We first of all, you let him off the hook. Whoever the five Kendrick fans was, you let him off the hook at the start because he started talking about streams and Billboard. So we already was cooked already. So right there, you had to make him decide what is hip hop to him. Because if we gonna start talking about how many records sold, we not even talking about the same conversation. All right. So let's have this conversation. I'm going to say hip hop is competitive. We started hip hop because they were fighting, and the gangs in New York were getting so bad they were fighting and killing each other. So they started to compete in other ways, which was hip hop, break dancing, graffiti, rapping. Rapping was last. It was the DJ in the first. Then the DJs needed someone to say who the DJ's name was, and that became the MC. So the MC only purpose up there was to say who the DJ was. Well, it started to advance where the MC started saying more and more and more. And before you knew it, the MC was rapping. Now he rapping and topping. Now he's saying his own name. Now he the most important thing in the party, who the MC was. So now we basing hip hop off competition, right? Jay tried to narrow it down to MC started off partying. Okay, it started off competition. And the competitions went into the parties. So let's keep this right. Okay, we were competing over with these hip hop things. We were rapping and this, that, and the third. That's why it was so many battles back then. It wasn't all about partying, but yes, you do have a point. Hip hop was in those parties. The break dancers were partying. They were in there dancing in the party. So we're not gonna act like it wasn't about partying. We're gonna keep that 100. But it wasn't never about no record sales. Now you're gonna say, well, hip hop has advanced in every era and it moved on and it turned into record sales. It turned into record sales for some. And we're gonna have that conversation because end of the day, most of the best hip hop wasn't never the most selling. Okay, so we got to be clear. And we start saying he the most influential in hip hop. What's hip hop? Decide that first. So you're not going to hit us with a bunch of conversation about streams and a bunch of conversations about record sales and a bunch of conversation about tours and all of that matters. Okay, it matters, but it don't mean everything. Right? So it's a lot of stuff we didn't discuss, like ghostwriting and things of that nature. So we're going to have a real conversation. As you're going to say, we influence on hip hop. How's the influence on hip hop? Okay, so let's say he's a big artist. He's a pop artist. I pulled out an interview last week from 2017 where Drake said he's a pop artist and he wanted to be looked at as such. He received some rap Grammys and he thought that was racist to him because he said they didn't know where to put me because I'm black. So they made me a rapper and I wanted to be in the pop category. I'm a Michael Jackson. So Drake himself has called himself a pop star. So if we're going to argue who's the most influential rapper, the nigga got to want to be a rapper. Okay? So this is why I'm saying if I was there, I wouldn't have agreed to no timer because I'm not going to be getting cut off and edited out. First things first. So the nigga got to want to be a rapper, right? So this is where the blackness thing, and when Homeboy brought up the culture, Jay was like, you keep bringing this back to blackness. No, we said culture. It ain't that we saying he's black or he's not black. A lot of Drake fans, you're winning that conversation about, oh, they're trying to take away his blackness because no one did that. We just had Michael Eric Dyson try to say, yo, you're trying to take away Drake's blackness. First of all, that's an old argument that people used to say way back in the day. But at the end of the day, that's not what Kendrick did. Nowhere on none of them records that Kendrick took away his blackness. He reminded him that he has his own insecurities about his blackness. And he used it in a battle strategy. It was against him in a battle. So at the end of the day, he didn't try to strip him of his blackness. He called his son a black man. Okay, this is the difference between me and those guys. I do this every day. Those guys don't know what they're doing, and no disrespect to them. But at the end of the day, they let Jay control the narrative and tell them that hip hop was about streams and Billboard charts. So right there, the conversation was over. But at the end of the day, we're gonna have this conversation. Now I'm gonna play this video, and we're gonna have a conversation. But you can't slap it and say he the most influential in hip hop. What's hip hop? Streams? Streams can be faked. I'm not even gonna hit you with bots and this, that, and the third, because you can't prove bots and I can't prove bots. So we're not even gonna talk about bots. There's a lot of shit, and I'm not gonna call him a culture vulture. I don't call Drake a culture vulture. So that conversation's out the window, but we can do that because he got some funny bunny shit we could get into. We can get into a whole lot of things, right? So around here on these parts, it's tough being a Drake fan. And what you did was you brought up, you said he did this and that third. He put all these artists on. Well, where are the artists at when it was time to show and prove? Why you made the point that all these YouTubers, we should thank them because we eating off of them. Why do you think we eating off of them? Because hip hop, for the most part, hate this nigga. That's why I can make a channel tomorrow and make a million fucking views off of Drake ass because most of hip hop hate the nigga. He's a pop star. Pop people love him. So we can go all night, my G. This is light work. I'm gonna be honest. At the end of the day, if we're gonna have this conversation about he's influential in hip-hop, how many niggas records? Ask Drum, is he influential? Ask fucking XXXTentacion, all the motherfuckers that the records got stole, is he influential? We could do this, gang. So we could have the conversation. And I saw the video you put up earlier where you named all these people that was popping on OVO, Popcorn, this, that, and the third. I saw y'all watched it. And I said, and ain't none of them niggas fucking with Keem. Keem popping more than every nigga on OVO. What we gonna do? What we talking about? So at the end of the day, we can have the conversation, my G. But at the end of the day, nigga, it's gonna be a rough night. It's gonna be a real rough night. So end of the day, let's have the conversation. I'm gonna play the video, but at the end of the day, when we talking about hip hop influential, how nigga like gambling on stake all motherfucking day, stealing niggas songs, we can do this, dog. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna press play on this video and we can have this conversation.
My name is Jay Roebuck, and today I'm here in front of 5 of Drake's biggest haters. My job is going to convince them that they are completely wrong and show them the real way to appreciate one of hip-hop's greatest artists. My first done more for hip-hop than any current artist. All right, here we go.
You say that Drake has done more.
So Fritz the Cat 57 on Instagram. Drake fans need to go listen to Meet the Grands properly this time. Salute. Hold on. Salute Yellow Girl in the building. Salute Yellow Girl. I got your shirt. I hit you up. You joined the Patreon. I hit you up in the chat. Let me know what size shirt you getting. Let me see what's going on. There's a lot going on in the chat. Salute Poison Ivy. I see Mike said emotionally rambling. Mike, I'm kicking facts, gang. Stop me when I'm wrong. Stop me when I'm wrong. I get emotional, gang. I'm passionate, but stop me when I'm wrong. Let me know.
Any other black artist?
Than any current artist today.
Any current artist?
Yeah.
How you? What's the fact on that?
Oh, you want me to start? Okay, I'll start.
Yeah.
Well, there's a number of ways that we can look at this. We can look at it from a numerical point or a cultural point. We can start with culture, right?
I love the culture. That's
yes.
the best one.
Yes, sir.
Listen
I believe that one of the most important things an artist can do for hip hop or for what they believe in is put it at the forefront of the entire. Hip hop has been the most dominant genre in the world for over a decade, and the leading force behind that has been Drake.
All right, so let me stop there. So Drake makes pop music. We need to have this conversation because a lot of Drake fans does the same thing that Jay's doing. They're going to tell us that Drake is making a lot of hip hop music. Drake's biggest hits are pop songs, right? One Dance. What's the one he stole from Drum? Like all these songs are very, very popish songs. Those are the records that's getting all the streams today. All the number one streamer in the world. A lot of these are pop records, but we want to say it's hip hop. That's where the problem starts. When we're going to say, if I'm hip hop, then I got to be making some hip hop. Drake has told us for years, I'm never going to stop singing, which we're not saying because you're singing, it doesn't make you hip hop. But what we're saying is there's a problem when you're trying to line him up against artists that are doing straight up rapping. And you're going to say he's beating them all. Look at the streams. It ain't fair. He's not doing what we're doing. He's not making traditional hip hop. You get a timestamp record, then you get 5 pop records. So we're not doing the same things. We don't have the same motives. In the material ain't as hip hop as it should be, right? And I know we're gonna get on the conversation of him, the quality of the lyrics, the substance, this, that, and the third. We're gonna get into all that.
You can look at the numbers, who's the most streamed artist. You can look at the numbers and talk about collaborative cultures, whether it's UK or whether it's in the Caribbean. He has put hip hop at the forefront of all those things.
Has he though? You just named different kind of genres, and you're saying he putting hip hop. Drake comes out and does Afro beats. He does all this other stuff. That don't mean he's putting hip hop. He's putting Drake in the front of these other genres. We can't say every time he does an Afro beat song and this, that, and the third, he's moving the needle on hip hop. And I get it. I'm not gonna take nothing from him. He is a quote unquote hip hop artist. And that does, under his name, under his banner, when he does a hit record, this, that, and the third, they say Drake the rapper XYZ. It does move the needle. But at the end of the day, if you're doing a whole lot of other stuff, aren't you mostly expanding that stuff, right? Aren't you expanding that particular genre that you're trying to imitate or use? I don't know if you're expanding hip hop. You're expanding your brand. If I go out here and start doing all kind of different styles of genre, I don't know if I'm expanding hip hop into that or I'm just expanding myself into those lanes. Let's just be honest. A lot of them hits ain't even hip hop at all. Let's just be honest. You used to call me on myself, and Drum did that, right? End of the day, it is what it is. We can have a conversation of if we're gonna say he's the most influential, then we got to have some context. Remember, I wrote in the comments, I said, Jay he give you some facts, but they don't have no context. If we're going to anoint him the greatest currently of whatever, the current artist, then we got to get the context too, because a lot of them songs, a lot of question of where they came from. Who wrote them, this, that, and the third. And in hip-hop, you if you're going to be the top of hip-hop, yeah, you could be. It's a lot of people in hip-hop that didn't write their stuff, but we're not going to anoint you the best in it when you're borrowing and taking a lot of other people's lyrics. There's a lot of reference tracks out there, this, that, and the third. So when we start saying you're the biggest artist in hip-hop, you're the biggest rapper, well, rappers usually write their shit. And when they don't write them, they are acknowledged as being good rappers, but we don't put them in the top. So there's a lot of stuff that goes with that most influential. It's a lot of things that go on when we're going to say, okay, who's the top rapper? There's a lot of questions that need to be answered. I don't feel like we could say he's the top rapper over who, over what, in what category, because a lot of those hits ain't even rap. But let me keep this pushing.
So by him doing that, every artist has been able to benefit. If you want to look at your pure hip hop purist standpoint, if you want to talk about battle rap, Drake has put his money where his mouth is. He has invested in URL to a platform to continue to flourish.
Okay, so this is what I want to say. And again, no context. He invested in URL, then he got in a rap battle and he sued for it. And I know your thoughts on the rap battle, but you can't invest in URL and then go sue for a rap battle, my G. Ain't no amount of explaining. There's no way you guys can twist it and turn it and make that into some shit about UMG. And we can have that conversation, but at the end of the day, you're suing over words from the rap battle. No matter how you're saying that UMG used them, you're saying that UMG tried to devalue him, but it was a rap battle. You jumped in it willingly. You shouldn't have jumped in it if that was the case. If your brand is that fragile that he could say something about you and ruin your $400 million deal, then you ain't no rapper. You don't need to be in the conversation, and you don't need to be battling. If you could go get your lawyers, then we shouldn't even be battling you in the first place. So bringing up URL don't make no sense, because them niggas would never sue. Okay, so you're talking about, oh, he put money in the URL. A lot of motherfuckers do a lot of shit that don't have nothing to do with hip hop. I don't think that makes you or breaks you because you put money in the URL. Let me continue.
Those are just some of the things that he's done.
The battle against Kendrick. If we talking about hip hop, because you talk giving, and that's great. Culturally, I think we have an issue with Drake, because Drake I don't like to say he has attached himself to Atlanta.
Now, so all right, so let me say, well, I'm not even gonna call him a culture vulture, right? But at the end of the day, if you're from Canada, you grew up in his own words, a cultural mosaic. He said himself, we don't have racism up here. We didn't experience none of that. We all got along up here. He said it himself. That is not how we live down here. We got a different culture. He had issues saying the N-word as a child. When he grew up, he said it even when he was in his 20s. He's like, I don't like that. That's ghetto. When he started rapping, he wanted to emulate the American rappers. He started saying the N-word. They don't say that up there like that. So he said it with the hard R. He wasn't saying it correctly. He's not like us. We grow up saying the shit. He doesn't. He learned that shit. He learned how to dress and started to do a lot of things that we were doing. He started to mimic the styles because they don't act like we act. They don't talk like we talk. All the shit that he's doing now, he got that from the Atlanta artists and other people that he started to mimic. A lot of people say he stole I'm not gonna say stole. I'm not even gonna use the word stole. We're gonna be respectful. Fonte's flow from Lil Brother is very prevalent in his earlier work. Okay, so end of the day, a lot of people put Drake. First of all, Drake. If Drake was acting like the Drake that he was right now, he would have never got in the game. Drake was humble when he came in. He was just all shucks Canadian kid that could flow. And we was like, oh shit, this P Code Aubrey nigga, yo, check him out, da da da. If he would have came in on this like, yo, all this nigga shit, da da da, he wouldn't even made it past the fucking gate. Okay, because they would have been like, wait, the Canadian kids acting like he rough. It wouldn't have happened like that. That came after he got some money and got some people under his belt that started fucking with him. So he started acting like us, but he wasn't like us. Let's just be honest. And that's the point that motherfuckers got to understand. That's what we're saying when we're saying he's not like us and he's not of the culture. Y'all keep trying to make it about blackness. It's about the culture. The culture here, we do a different little thing. It's different here, right? It's different in LA. It's different in DC. It's different in New York. We don't act like Canadians and they don't act like us. He's not of the culture, right? So these guys don't have enough bandwidth. They don't do this every day. So they're not going to know how to say that. Right. And respect these guys. They got thrown into it's an unwinnable situation. I couldn't even have won in this situation. I couldn't have won with 5 dudes waiting on me to die. That's like going bowling. I hate waiting on my turn in bowling game because it takes too long. You can't flow. End of the day. So this was a kid who didn't understand what we had going on here. He's a fan. That's why he buys so much rap memorabilia, but he's a fan. And he's a good rapper. That's what Drake fans understand. We're not saying he's not a good rapper. Right. But at the end of the day, it's more than just being a good rapper. A lot of people can mimic this shit. Right. This motherfucker like PM Dawn right now. right? At the end of the day, so what we got to understand is when Drake came into the game, he was very humble. He was happy to be here, all shucks, this, that, and the third. He was a fan. Then when he started getting money and power, he started getting this big bone and broad. He got his chest out. Now he's this nigga with the mob ties. He running with these guys from Texas and this, that, and the third. Right? So now we watch the switch up and it's like, what the hell's going on? Right? So now we got a whole different thing and we got a whole different vibe. So at the end of the day, a lot of this stuff that's being said is not really showing the full picture of who this guy is. Yeah, he did this, that, and the third, but it was a lot of stuff that he wasn't into that he got into by watching us do it. And he was already of age. A lot of us learned about rap and shit when we was fucking 10 years old. Right? This guy was 20-something, learned how to say the N-word. Gang, he's not like us.
He's attached himself to things and part of our culture, people, but I don't always think that Drake is for us. I don't know where Drake stands on political things. I'm not saying that Drake has to be common or not.
No, that's the thing. You don't have to be Common or Nas. But at the end of the day, if we're gonna start calling him the most influential rapper, rap has changed from the breakdancing and battling days of the 80s. And you do gotta low-key say something if we're gonna put you in the top 5. Right? You got to say something when something's going on. You got to be on the front lines and you got to be active in these situations. We can't sit back and we can't be like, well, we don't really know what he think. And the motherfucker be like, well, he did sign a petition, so you can't use lyrics against niggas in the fucking court case. Yeah, he signed that petition, then he sued for lyrics. Gang, we got to have a fucking understanding of what we're talking about. So this is what happens. You guys come up with these concepts and you make us have to go and say these things. Like people want to let the nigga live, and then you guys come out and say he's the greatest, most influential, and then we got to check this shit because it's bullshit. If we're gonna say what hip hop really is, you got to low key be for the people. It's for the people, by the people. It ain't for one nigga to just rise above it and rule over it. Look at it, yo. Look how many streams I got. I am the fucking king of streams. Fuck out of here. That's not what this shit's about. It ain't gonna never be about that. Yes, sales matter for niggas to keep record deals. That shit happened. That's great for the execs in the fucking ivory towers and shit that run this shit from a standpoint of, oh, let's make a bag. Right? That counts to them. We ain't never give a fuck. Niggas in the streets didn't care about no record sales till it became a thing where rappers started saying that shit. Oh, I got record sales. Nobody give a fuck. We don't make no money from their record sales. Is the songs good? Is they good or not? That's what we're talking about. So at the end of the day, these guys already was at a disadvantage because he set the tone. He said Drake has done more for hip hop than any current artist. They didn't define hip hop. They didn't make Jay define hip hop. Because soon as you start talking them streams and this, that, and the third, then we got an issue. And I heard what you say about URL, but you can't say URL and then go and say he sued for a battle. End the story. We're not going to try to play semantic. Oh, he sued UMG. Nigga, we know what the lawsuit's about. Y'all motherfuckers act like we don't fucking know. Everybody understands. He's trying to say they devalued him. They used Kendrick as a tool to devalue him and fuck up his $400 million deal that he was supposed to have on the table with UMG. He was renegotiating. Stop saying renegotiating, because you can't renegotiate a contract you already paid off. All you Drake fans tell me, yo, Charles, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Drake already paid off his $400 million deal. Then what the fuck we renegotiation? We doing a whole new contract. Okay, if I just made you $400, I'm valuable in the motherfucker. Ain't no one verse gonna mess up my value. So you can't say pedophile and all of a sudden you drop down $300 million and I'm worth $100 million. It don't work like that. I'm still worth $400 million. And why we not discussing why if he's so powerful and he could have get $400 million and he had a deal of $500 million on the table for Sony, why the fuck he didn't take that shit? Why did he go battle Kendrick in the first place? It's fucking ego. But at the end of the day, if you're gonna sue UMG for negotiations, this is what Drake fans. This bothers me. It blows my mind. They want me to believe that he's gonna sue for defamation because the defamation from Kendrick hurt his renegotiation with UMG for the $400 million. They claim that Drake won $1 billion this time. Well, guess what? There's nothing to stop you from going independent, my G. If you made UMG $400 million, make yourself $400 million. I don't know why we're not having that conversation, but we keep having this conversation and somehow UMG owes him some money because he lost a fucking battle. And at the end of the day, you keep bringing up these fucking streams. At the end of the day, if anybody had any common sense like I fucking do, we would know Drake's streams went down after the battle. That's why he sued for defamation. All of a sudden, they went through the roof. That's UMG doing that, dog. Y'all motherfuckers is dense as fuck, but you gonna get on here and say he's the #1 streamer? Yeah, nigga, because they did it. So when they go to fucking court, he would lose. But y'all motherfuckers don't think about that. UMG they pulled all the stops so that they could press them fucking buttons and get all them bots or not, whatever it was. They made all them old ass records go up. You motherfuckers online bragging about Take Care is #1, Take Care back on the charts. You motherfuckers don't understand. You killed this fucking case because once the judge and everybody else saw that there was no fucking losses, The case was about losses, dumbass. I'm not talking about you, Jay. I'm gonna be respectful to you, but these for the Drake fans that want to say they want to have their cake and eat it too. They want to say, oh, he heard him calling him a pedophile, heard his negotiations, but then they want to say he's the #1 stream artist in the world. They can't be both. You can't be hurt. You can't be hurt from the word. You can't be hurt from the battle loss. But then all of a sudden, you're still worth $400 million and you're the #1 stream artist in the world. They telling us every day. You go on your Twitter, they telling you every day he's still the #1 stream artist on earth. Well, that's because UMG made sure he was, because if he would have went to court, they would have been like, Your Honor, there are no damages to give him. That's what y'all don't understand. So end of the day, we talking a whole lot of stuff that you got to add the context. Yeah, he's got all these streams. He's great, this, that, and third. A lot of this shit has context to it.
But I don't know what he is. He's an enigma. He's a girl told the other day. Like, and I yourself. Any right? More cultural impact than Drake. It's crazy.
Yeah. Right. So you said a few things. You started talking about Atlanta. So what you just did at all of those places, when you talk about Atlanta, let's look at the Migos, right? Offset has said it out of his own mouth. The head of QCP said it himself. What Drake did by doing that verse on Versace and putting it out for free helped amplify the motion that the Migos already had.
Let me stop you right there. I need you to say that again. The motion that the Migos already have. Drake fans want to tell you that all of these features only benefit the artist that he puts on, like he puts them on. They literally use these words. You got to understand, he's going for, I need you to play back what Jay just said. The motion that they already have, the motion that Kendrick already have. Kendrick was already selling out tour. He was already selling out shows. 3,000 seaters. He came to my city. They had to make another show because it sold out in an hour. So end of the day, the Drake fan want to make it like it's all beneficial on one side. Do y'all realize you have to stay relevant as an artist? I don't know if y'all know that. This guy was able to pinpoint artists on the come up, right? Versace was already popping. He had to hear it some kind of way. Every single one of these cases of somebody's song being yapped and snapped, they had a hit already. So we can't. What Drake fans want to do is rewrite the history that all of a sudden he's found these motherfucking nobodies and shit and put them on, and now all of a sudden he's worked with all these artists. He does all these things. He put a whole. If you let Jay tell, he put the whole Atlanta scene on his back. It wouldn't be no Atlanta scene without Drake. Like, you got to understand what these guys are saying. These people were already buzzing. They already popping on their way up with or without him. Yes, everybody knows he put the Versace shit on his back, but he jumped on a record that was hot. Jay-Z used to do the same shit. This is what these rappers do to stay hot. Even pop stars do this. Janet Jackson, everybody. You collab. That's why people started collabing in the first place. You try to get the buzz of what's coming up next. So we got to stop making it like it's this unequal field where he's just snatching up and blessing these people and he's throwing them on his back. And soon as he came in, all of a sudden, the rest of their career, they still saying shit. Michael Eric Dyson said this shit when he was talking about Kendrick. He's like, have some respect for where you came from. So he's trying to say, basically, Kendrick should respect this nigga for the rest of his life because he owes him something. End of the day, we got to understand it's more to it than just, he put them on, so now they on forever. No, it ain't like that. If he could just put you on, why didn't he just put everybody on OVO on? And I saw the video, Jay, when you said, you started naming Popcorn, all these people. Well, I don't know if they really popping like you saying. I get it that you're saying that, but half the people you name, I never heard of them, dog. I'm just gonna be honest. So I don't know, why don't he just put the OVO people on like he did for the Atlanta people that he did so much? Oh my God, he put the whole Atlanta. Did he really? Well, why the fuck Smiley ain't on? What we talking about? Let's have a conversation. If it's just so easy, you're talking about people that's already talented. They already on their way up, and you're gonna try to say he put him on his back. You sure? You sure? Or he put some motherfuckers that was already popping. That's like saying he put A$AP Rocky and Kendrick on. Come on, gang. These motherfuckers was already on their way. They was already on their way. He happened to see that, or somebody in his team was like, listen, you need to get with these guys. This is what they do, dog. They get with people that's already showing promise. They already on their way up.
If you want to go to Houston, if you want to go to Toronto, if you want to talk about the weekend by putting the weekend on Take Care, if you want,
and we're not even going to speak on the weekend, dog. Stop putting the Weeknd as if this dude is cool with this whole shit. This is the context I'm talking about. We can't keep throwing names out there and acting like these people is so cool with this nigga. These are motherfuckers that actively hate this nigga. Wasn't they shooting at each other's house? You can't name the Weeknd as somebody he fucking put on. The Weeknd is just as big as him right now, if not bigger. His records is crazy right now. After he got away out the fucking OVO sweatshop, my G. So let's start having a real conversation. This conversation with these guys is paperweight. It has no context, and they don't have the context to actually combat some of this nonsense. But I do. And the simple fact of the matter is, you naming people that have blew up on their own merit. Half the songs that we talking about that he's got for streaming, he got them from the Weeknd. I saw your other video. You try to make it like Party Next Door is popping. How long Party Next Door been in the background? He didn't do the record with him until the battle happened and he didn't know what to do next. So now he took all these old records that pop, but this nigga already had. He fucking jumped on him. I'm gonna put out some sexy songs for you. All of a sudden, then you try to name that and say, yo, look at what he did for Party Next Door. Like he did him a fucking favor. This nigga career is fucking dead, nigga. What you talking about? He gave him a #1 album, a #1 album. When shit? How long you been on OVO? How many features they got? Talk to me, dog. I need to understand where the fuck Party been for 6 years. Right at the end of the day, I don't know everything about this nigga, but I know he ain't popping. Okay, I know that he just did. I know the Sexy Songs for You was his coming out party. A lot of motherfuckers didn't even know who the fuck he was. That's how much work he's doing for him. Let's be honest. He said, "Charles, don't let dudes say 5 words." Nigga, this my shit.
Talk about, even though him and Tory Lanez had a feud in Toronto, he helped amplify Tory's career. If you want to look at Party Next Door, who Drake gave his first album and one of his first platinum selling projects and one of his best selling projects. Drake is the person.
He said Drake gave it to him like Drake wasn't on it. He didn't give him shit. He jumped on it. It's his. Every time they name who did it, they put his name in there. No Kid. Where's his name?
Who allowed that to happen? And I notice you're doing something here, and we'll talk about culture as we get. You keep saying "our" as if it doesn't belong to it, but if you look at his lineage and his family history, his father is a Black American from Memphis, Tennessee. His uncle, is another one of the most influential musicians who helped Prince, right? So which is one of the greatest musicians who's ever lived. So I know we're going to get into this more, but
so being Diana Ross' son, being Prince's little brother, being anybody's anybody. I know Tony. Guess what? All this they used to babysit Aretha Franklin. None of that makes you great, and it don't make you a Black American because you born under these people. It don't make you anything. You just got some of their DNA in you, and that's it. It's a lot of people that got brothers and sisters that you never even heard of, and ain't doing much of nothing but going to work every day. They ain't rapping, they ain't tapping. So all of that, you keep name dropping these people, his dad and his mom, that sound good. It sound good until you realize this guy's from Canada. He not like us. He don't know about our lifestyle. He learned that shit from watching rap videos and Googling shit like somebody else that ain't from there. Hip hop came from where I told you came from the streets of the Bronx and New York, this, that, and the third, whatever part of New York you want to say it was. It came from there, from the struggle, because these guys were killing each other. They started to compete with hip hop. They used that as a way to change the narrative and start to stop harming and hurting each other. That's where hip hop starts from. It ain't from no fucking kid in Canada or no TV show. And I'm not knocking him, but I just want to keep it a buck. We got to have a fucking conversation that makes some sense. We're not going to keep sitting up here. And I see you, Jay. You're like, I'm sonning these niggas. You're really not. You're really not sonning them. You're using a lot of misdirection and words that really don't have no context. And on paper, it's just like some Trump shit, some MAGA shit. On paper, it look like the motherfucker doing a really good job till you start investigating and really understanding what's going on. Let me continue.
I just had to stop you there.
No, I love that. That's beautiful information. But a lot of times with Drake, I don't know that because I feel like he's so alienated himself, his like fans, like he's people shit. And it's like, bro, who the hell could relate to your music now?
So you think that Kendrick Lamar has done more for hip hop than Drake has?
What are we talking about? What are we talking about? Describe. This is what Homeboy should have said. He hasn't. He should have asked him, describe how he hasn't. Which one of them got the anthem, like literally the Black anthem? We're going to be all right. We could do this all day. So hip hop is a culture that's come from struggle on the streets. It ain't gonna never be nothing else. No matter how many records you sell, no matter how many people jump in and start managing, signing artists, this, that, and the third, none of that shit means it's hip hop. So right there, the conversation is flawed. So if you're gonna come here talking about how many records he sold off of one dance and all this, that, and the third, then we're not talking the same language and the conversation over. You can't not win. So end of the day, what you mean done more for hip hop? Because he put a couple niggas on that was already on their way up anyway. What we doing? Let's have a conversation. Let's talk about lyrical shit. Let's talk about deeper meaning and substance. Yes, it matters. It matters. Let's go.
I think Drake has done a lot. I'm not saying it,
So
but
if not him, then who? Who is your person who you think has done more for hip hop than Drake?
I could say Kanye.
But it's not his job saying it. It's your job to prove it. He don't have to. This is where they messed up trying to defend Ken. It ain't about defending nobody. They trying to defend K Dot and bring up all this shit. This is where they wasted their time. They was on a timer and they're trying to defend your fucking points. They should have said, no, you tell me why. And they should have answered your whatever rebuttals they had to go for, whatever. It says Drake has done more for hip hop than any current artist, and you try to use that word current so niggas couldn't say Kanye, Jay-Z, da da da. But Kanye Gary dropped Bully, right? Allegedly, so he's current. So end of the day, what we talk about, and Kanye has done a lot for hip hop. Let's just be honest. Kanye's done more than a whole lot of niggas, most niggas. Let's just be honest. Well, if I feel a certain way about Kanye too, that's a whole nother conversation. Kanye, he did some shit. Right, he said some fuck shit, and I feel a certain way about Kanye, but I can't take nothing from him, especially early Kanye album 1, 2, and 3. Kanye was a living embodiment of hip hop, whether they was writing for him or not, because some of that shit they wrote for him, and some of them beats he had help with, this, that, and the third. He learned from No ID, but at the end of the day, what he done for hip hop is no debate. Now he's a dickhead at this point, but he done a lot for hip hop. So if we're gonna talk, let's have a conversation, because you can't say this guy because he put a couple niggas on from Atlanta. Right, that really at this point in time they struggling to move units anyway. But how many fucking with 21 Savage? How many fucking bots did they just remove from the shit because nobody wants to hear that shit? So end of the day, we got a whole nother conversation. All these people that they put on and did so much for hip hop. Well, what these niggas doing right now? Let's just be honest. Are they real? Are they making hip hop or are they making some bullshit and trying to bot it and fool everybody that is popping? What we talking about?
I can say
I don't count Kanye as a current artist, but if you want to do Kanye,
Kanye's current.
If you want, we can talk about Ye. Well, that's the buzzer.
All right,
but that was good. What
You know how I feel about that buzzer shit.
Yeah.
How many artists has Drake pillaged from? How many?
Evan Cohn best. Evan was one of the better ones. He was one of the best ones. I'm gonna be honest. I felt that he had the most to say, and some of the comments that he made, they were very articulate, and I believe that he probably would have stood a chance without the buzzer. He probably would have had a better chance. I think he came in too hot. I think a lot of them came in too hot because they was feeling rushed. So they came in too hot and they was and it threw you off because like, bro, you're coming in way too hot. Jay sitting there cool as a cucumber because he's in control of the situation. He don't got to prove nothing. He just got to make y'all sound stupid. So it's two different things. Let me continue.
Artists do we look at? We could try to say that Drake has reached out and given a feature there, and then he drops them off to irrelevancy. How many artists has Drake signed to his own feels their greatest songs? You just mentioned Party Next Door, who's not even a hip hop artist. Drake has stolen Party Next Door's whole career, derailed it, and then jumped.
You can't really say stole. Party willingly gave him that music, so we can't really say he stole it. But yes, we get what you're saying, Evan.
On it, took all his best work and then put it out as his own. So Party Next Door can't even shine to be the artist that he is because Drake can't stand to be. He has to be the star of the limelight. Everything that he
right here, he's kind of spiraling, and that's where Jay gonna get him. But he means well, and what he's saying is facts. But what he's trying to say, he's too emotional when he's saying it, and he's getting a little carried away, and that's where Jay gonna eat him up.
does. He's jumped on Block Boy JB song. He jumps on these one hit artist song. Then you never hear from these artists ever again. WAP had one of the greatest waves in hip hop with so many hits. He ran the summer of 2016. What did Drake do? Man, let me jump on my way, take it over, not give you a music video. So this claim of that you're trying to paint out there that Drake is just the greatest, he's done so much for hip hop.
Let me just say this. I'm gonna be honest right here. Jay, I don't know if Jay's still in the chat or not, but Jay, he low-key eats you right here because what you did right here, this wasn't fair. And what you did was you try to kind of dismiss it, and you gave a really cute, you rewrote what he just said about Drake taking that song from Fetty Wap, you reworded it and you kind of played with it, but you really described Drake stealing the song from him. So you did it in a cute way and it was cute. But I sat there and watched. I said, Jay just really twisted the words right back to say he stole the shit. So let's listen. Listen to it carefully, because Jay played with the words and really told on himself that Drake stole the song from Fetty Wap.
He's done so much thievery. That's the type of work Drake has done.
That was cool, but I hate to tell you that you're wrong, right?
Go ahead.
So, and Jay saying niggas wrong when he just don't agree. It don't make you wrong, bro. You don't make you wrong, but let's hear how he's wrong.
So all of the things that you just said, have we heard any of those artists echo that point?
So first of all, just because an artist don't say it, do you say that? Do you think Weeknd's going to say these things? Like, they're not going to say these things. First of all, ain't this the guy that get niggas beat up? How many niggas got beat up for opening their mouth about Drake? Didn't they beat up? What's the homeboy that did these reference tracks and Meek Mill chased him and this, that, and the third? So why would this guy going around sick and Chubb's crashing out, whoever the fuck? Didn't they got about 3-4 niggas got beat up? So what are you going to, it's like, let's be honest. You're not giving the context. You're not giving the context, dog. They got people running around scared. Right? Didn't Drum get beat up for saying something? You're not. This is what I'm talking about. These niggas wasn't prepared for this conversation, but I am. The simple fact of the matter is, if you speak on this guy, he goes around and gets you jumped and beat up. Okay? Now let me know when I'm lying. Let me know when I'm lying, Jay. So you're saying, why did any of these artists say something? Yeah, you sure? All right, let's talk about it, gang.
McConan, that was Drake's song.
Okay, well, McConan would be one person who's still working in a fast food restaurant by his own choice, right? That was his own choice. And Tuesday, Drake got on Tuesday, remixed it, the song went up. Is it his job to now coddle McConan through the rest of his career?
Bro cooks you because he's on his label.
Well, let me go. McConan has had opportunity over a decade to try to put out more music and more records.
Hold up, Jay. Hip-hop artists, you just named all the people that he went on. So when they succeed, it's because of him. But when they fail, does he got to hold his hand? Does he had many opportunities. So it's a two-way street and it just flows with the wind. Whatever is whatever. See, I'm watching this, Jay, and I'm like, Jay, you're being disingenuous, because when they win, when the Migos come out and win and they go on to great success, then that Drake did that. Now Drake is Kendrick owes him forever because he took it on tour, right? But in McConan's case, oh well, he had many opportunities. Why he didn't take care? Is that Drake's fault? Shit, the nigga flop, nigga working at fast food. It's a whole different energy, right?
Nothing has come from that. Now we get next door again. I've already cited that, Drake and him doing that collaboration album gave Party his most commercially successful song, put Party on the biggest tour that he's ever been a part of. Do you hear Party Next Door complaining?
Why would he complain? This nigga is up under him. He gets his bag from him. Why would he complain? What else is he going to do? His career is cooked. He got to wait for this guy to give him this, that, and the third. He took too long to open his window. He probably can't get out the deal, and for God's sake, might get beat up if he try. So what we talking about? So you're saying stuff that ain't logical because you're not giving the full context. You're not giving the full context.
No, because Party Next Door is an artist who comes out and does what he wants to when he wants to, and there's also a writer.
Quentin Miller, that's the name. Joyce, salute you.
Not just in the hip hop melodic space, but also in R&B and Caribbean music. And his best work he actually gave to Rihanna, and him and Drake co-wrote some of those songs. So that. Then you talk about Fetty Wap. We can go back and listen to the words out of Fetty's mouth, right? We got to fact check these things. You can't say he stole Fetty's wave or didn't do the music video. He told Fetty, I'm going to do the remix of the song. He just wanted it to be him and Fetty on the song. Yep. Fetty refused because he said, listen, I want to be loyal to my friend, so I'm not going to allow you to do that. So Drake said, cool, I'm just going to do it the old school way. I'm going to do the beat and I'm going to put it out.
Did you see how cute that was? Are you guys paying attention? You see what Jay just did? He said he wanted Fetty on the song without Monty. He told Fetty to take off Monty. Monty refused because he's loyal. You say this shit all cute, it sound cool. He refused because he's loyal. So Drake just did it the old-fashioned way. I took the beat and fucking stole it. But you see what Jay made it sound really, really, really a hip-hop way. It sounded really cool the way he's described it. So what we're doing here is when we describe the fuck shit he do, it's a softer tone. And then when we describe the great shit he did, it's a louder tone, beating on the chest. Okay, let's keep it pushing.
That's not his fault. It actually amplified the light that Fetty Wap. Again, when I say what he's done for hip hop, no one has response to who has done more. Because what he does is he amplifies the light that people already have. That's not stealing. that is
Oh, it's
platforming, right?
when he do it. Guys, pay attention.
Look at where we are today. He's platforming a hip hop podcast or a hip hop debate. We can look at all the other people who are the big names in podcasting right now. We can look at Joe Budden.
Now we talking about podcast. We moved away from Fetty Wap, but let's keep it pushing.
Joe Budden out of his own mouth says, I can't wait for this album to drop because what it's going to do for me financially. Drake is his own ecosystem within hip hop. You can look at Drake's biggest haters. One of his lines is, the part I love most is they need me more than they hate me. Every person who's on YouTube every week gets a new thumbnail about Drake is finished and Drake is over. That is a byproduct of him having a career. He is funding these people. So the people who take the time to even hate on this guy, they actually should say, because
thank you, Drake, because we eat fucking good. Just like you eating off this hip hop shit that you keep running to pop, and then you come back to hip hop and throw a timestamp record here and there, and then you go back to pop, but then they want to claim you as the greatest hip hopper. So yes, thank you, my G. And at the end of the day, we're gonna keep eating off your ass every fucking day because you're doing something dumb every fucking day. You click and like, you click and share, you're doing this, that, and the third, you're putting up these goofy ass memes. You got this Iceman shit for 2 years, niggas still waiting. They're supposed to drop on the 6th, it's the fucking 10th. Right? What we doing? You still checking out? You still dropping leaks? Nigga, we gonna eat all fucking day. These motherfuckers say this shit like it fucking matters. And my G, do you understand why we can eat like this? Because motherfuckers hate this nigga. That's why. The reason that we can make these channels, how many pro Drake channels? I can count on one fucking hand how you can eat off a pro Drake channel. Good fucking luck. Because people on here are hip-hop heads and they don't fuck with them. That's why. Thank you, nigga. And at the end of the day, we eating good because every fucking week he doing something else ridiculous. Right? So that's why we eating so good, Jay. Just gonna be honest. I'm sorry I'm cursing. I'm just that kind of nigga. This the kind of channel I got. So end of the day, this is what we do over here. We call this shit for what it is. We don't sugarcoat it and we don't play fucking nice. Because when you get on here talking about he the most influential at fucking what? At what, my G? What we doing?
without him, those views would not be as good.
Funding.
Yes.
Funding these people.
Absolutely.
Drake not give direct money to any of these people that you've mentioned.
He's giving them the content there. But it's true. True.
That's not, that can
Life
be
isn't fair.
No, that's true, but that's the wrong perspective that you're trying to paint.
Bro, don't defend it. It's true. We eating good off this niggas. Oodles or noodles. We eating fucking filet mignon. Leave it at that. Let them say that. That's how is this? That's embarrassing that we eating off this nigga. We getting a lot of money off this dude. Nigga, keep acting up. Drop the album. We gonna eat for a motherfucking next 10 years. I'm gonna make 1,000 videos about this nigga. Ain't nobody embarrassed, nigga. We eating fucking really good. Really fucking good. So yes, you're right, Jay. Salute.
As this Drake is so big that everybody who attaches their name next to him automatically becomes more advantageous.
Because I'll just play it from my phone. I'll just do that. I'll just play it out loud.
Put his hands on somebody and push them forward. These people aren't pushed forward. They're literally coming back after years of not having any FaceTime saying, yo, I'm working at BK. What does that do? Like, even if he gives a #1 to Chris Brown, what does that do? That's not a Grammy.
Can y'all hear that?
Putting you on more and giving you more status. It's not doing much. Like, the streaming numbers can be whatever they want. They're still getting $100 at the end of the day. Like, that's like a slap in the face.
Let me rewind, homeboy, because he was saying something. Let me rewind him.
Perform that at the outro of the Breezy Bowl. So for every person that you could give me that Kendrick put on or Kendrick shined a light, I could give you 5 that Drake has done.
If every 5 that Drake put on is another 5 Drake left to the sidewalks.
Listen, this is light work. As far as I know, culturally,
Who is this?
he has not done
Homeboy with the
much
pink
as
hoodie.
like-
So he has some points to make too.
If every 5 that Drake put on is another 5 Drake left to the sidewalks.
Listen, this is like
So Akai, he got a Instagram Gojira Chodo, bro with the pink hoodie. He was trying to do his thing too. I don't really have nothing bad to say about what he was doing. But what happened was there was a lot of guys that were just so passionate that they couldn't get their own, they couldn't get pretty much what they were trying to say out. And it was a lot going on. But let me change this real quick. We're going to get back to this, that, and the third. We're going to get back to this, that, and the third. Don't you worry about that. Give me a second. Let me put these comments up since we ain't got no. There we go. So D said, I can hear you. Poison Ivy can hear me. Unfortunately, yes, we hear this jackassery. Dead ass. So what's going on now at this point is we're still in the Sarah said the poetic justice theory. Yes, I do know about the poetic justice theory. we're still we're still early in the video game, to believe it or not. I'm not gonna go all the way to the end, but I do want to finish some of these these comments and questions, this, that, and the third. This guy Akai, I do want to discuss some of the things he said. Let me know if y'all can hear me or not hear me.
As far as I know, culturally, industry-wise, he has not done as much as anybody like Kendrick or Kanye West in the past year or two, because it's really coming down to how he's actually put his hands on somebody and pushed them forward. These people aren't pushed forward. They're literally coming back after years of not having any FaceTime saying, yo, I'm working at BK. What does that do? Like, even if he gives a #1 to Chris Brown, what does that do? That's not a Grammy. That's not putting you on more and giving you more status. It's not doing much. Like, the streaming numbers can be whatever they want, but they're still getting $100 at the end of the day. Like, that's like a slap in the face. You get a free feature from Drake, and then you get an apartment after. That's it. You don't get the mansion. You don't get put on. There's nothing you get after that. You're literally getting siphoned from. That's it. I'm sorry.
Okay. So you think Kendrick and Kanye have done more?
Of course, for sure,
Okay.
for sure.
So I don't really count Kanye as a current artist, but for the sake of the debate, I will give you Kanye, and I will say it's still wrong.
I don't
Because-
know how.
And
How is that the case?
I'll tell you
How
why,
is that the
right?
case?
I'll tell you why. So to your own point, you're saying that Drake doesn't, give to these people. Listen, how many of Kanye artists who are signed to good music were unhappy with the split, right? Big Sean has been talking about how much he dislikes Kanye for the past 3 years.
That's
But
one
I
of
don't even
his
got-
biggest.
I don't
One of his biggest.
I don't even want to go down that route because it's not about that, right? And look at why we're all sitting here today. This guy right here just told me he wants to talk about the battle. One thing that Drake has given to the culture, and one thing he's given to hip hop as a purist, is battles. You can name a bunch of people.
Battles? Okay, hold
Yeah,
on.
well, no, let me finish. Yeah, battles are very important. When we talk about hip hop, when we talk about the sport of it, it is engaging one-on-one and not ducking any smoke. As the #1 artist in the world, he went to battle Pusha T, which he has nothing to gain from.
Let me stop you right there. So I don't know if y'all heard Jay, but he said that he went and battled Pusha T. Let's revisit the Pusha T battle. The Pusha T battle was Duppy, if I'm not mistaken. He came back and Pusha T made a line about Wayne or whatever he said. That I don't remember what it was. Drake came back with, if I'm not mistaken, he came back with Duppy. Pusha T came back with the story of Adidon that killed everything moving. End of the day, it was, I know that a lot of Drake fans want to discredit that, say all he did was say you are hiding a child. Well, he said a lot more than that, but at the end of the day, it was devastating to his career. Now, what happened with the so-called battle after that? We got a bunch of excuses about how what he was going to say was going to be so devastating that Jay Prince told him not to release it because it was going to be detrimental to his career. He didn't want him to hurt his career because he's the cash cow. So there really was no real battle because he never responded to the story of Adidon. What did he do? He went out, if I'm not mistaken, y'all correct me if I'm wrong, he went out and did God's Plan, which he stole from XXXTentacion, because XXXTentacion was already doing that for a long time, down there giving away money, making videos, this, that, and the third. He did that as a way to mock him. Remember that, how mad XXXTentacion was when he stole that idea? Became Drake's biggest record of all time, and the biggest video he's ever done at that time was God's Plan, but he got that from XXXTentacion. So the battle it wasn't no battle. He lost that battle. He fought, let's say he fought, but let's remember, there was no response to Story of Adidon. A bunch of subs, this, that, and the third. So what battle would happen? Let's recap all the battles. He went up against Meek Mill, who was unprepared to have anything going on with that battle, right? So Meek Mill was really, that was a wash. Like, he beat him with back-to-back. Who could he beat with back-to-back but Meek Mill? Meek Mill wasn't, I don't think Meek Mill expected him to respond. This is back, yeah, remember back then, everybody thought he was soft. We thought he was too soft to say anything. So he went back and made a back-to-back. He made a club banger. Don't get it fucked up. Back-to-back is a really good record. I like that record. This, that, and the third, right? But end of the day, he beat Meek Mill, unprepared Meek Mill that was really limped into that whole situation. He came back with it. Was he on tour or something? He came back with a record that we highly don't even remember the name of it or give him any credit for it. So end of the day, it wasn't a battle. So let's start there. So the Meek Mill battle, he beat Meek Mill. He owed him because he did the 2 records. What did he do? He did right before back-to-back. He did something, Charged Up or something, and then he did back-to-back, right? So now we sitting here giving him credit for that, which we do. He did fight, Then he came back and Pusha T. Let's remember, he didn't finish the Pusha T battle. He backed out. ended up on LeBron's show talking about he did too much. So we already heard him before when he backed out of the first battle. He said, he backed out of the battle with Pusha T. He said, you can go too far. People say you can't go too far in the battle. Remember what he said about 40? This man is sick, tick, 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 all that shit. Well, remember how mad he was? He said, I can never forgive him. We already saw right there, he not built for battles. So Jay, you keep giving him all these props about battling this, that, and the third. We really can't give him a lot of credit for that. We really can't. End of the day. So what we're looking at is a guy who went to a battle, the second battle, he went into it, backed out of it early. Then he went in with Kendrick. He finally tried to follow up and he got squashed. Like squash. At the end of the day, we're still talking about the two. He's 1 for 2. I mean, he's one out of 3. So end of the day, I don't know if this record is something to be bragging about. Let's just be honest. Yeah, he fought. I do give him credit for fighting, but he fought poorly because the two battles when the guys really could flow, really could give him some shit, they tore his ass up. They out-strategized him and everything. I know a lot of people want to say Kendrick did the strategy the certain kind of way. Yeah, it's called a strategy. And he beat him at his own game. All right, let me continue.
When in battle, he was ducking smoke. He went. Let me finish. Then we can go. He battled Kendrick Lamar. Win, lose, or draw, he's stuck in for the fight.
That's facts.
Battled Common. Win, lose, or draw, he's stuck in for the fight.
Did he battle Common? I don't remember him battle no Common. Somebody in the chat, let me know how Drake battled Common. Please let me know how that happened. How'd that work out? What verses did Drake send back to Common outside of some random subliminal shots that we didn't know if it was for Common or Joe Budden? Tell me how they battled. Because I know Common came straight up with a straight up record. Maybe even hit him with 2. I don't remember. I know he got him with 1. Where was the battle, Jay? Let me know. Where's the battle record that I can point to and say Drake and Common Sense had a battle? I don't know that happened.
How many of our favorite artists can we look to who have not
stuck in for the
that?
fight? There were Twitter messages where he was like, I don't know. I don't want to go too far into the.
But he did. But he did it.
He did it.
Stuck it out.
He did it.
Apparently, he might as well have been J. Cole in the battle. What are you talking about?
No, that's nonsense.
Really
that's nonsense.
With the battle was live for everybody to see. It literally put in perspective that this dude Drake was literally placating to the fans, saying, "Oh well,
and see that prime time." We keep trying to say that the Stay Scheming verse was about Common. Joe Budden think it was about him. So guess what? It's so innocuous. We don't know who it's about. That's not a battle. That's not a battle. What are we giving them credit for throwing some subs on a song that has nothing to do with nothing? It's not a battle. We got to stop saying that. Just like Tupac and Biggie didn't battle. There was no battle. Okay, let's be honest about this shit. There was no battle with these two. So there's no Common and Drake battle.
And get some more play if I battle Kendrick, my biggest hater, my biggest rival, so to speak. Kendrick is the one that was putting that battery in his back. Mm-hmm. The people put the battery in Drake's bag and say, you know what, I might as well do this. So let me get some quick dollars.
So he did something for the people.
No, and he didn't. He did it for himself. You just said it was selfish. So he's not like us.
What was the selfish reason that he had to go into the battle? What was selfish reason?
Because he knew he was going down. He's not on top anymore. Drake is
he went into the battle because he knew he was going down.
He knew that he did not have traction like he did before. He does not have the same pull. A Drake feature does not hit the same way as a Kendrick feature.
So you're saying he went into the battle because he needed it.
He needed that.
Meanwhile, he was coming off the biggest tour of his life and said, all right, I need to take a break from music and take care of my health.
So let me stop it there. So what Homeboy's trying to say is Drake wants to be taken seriously as a rapper, even though he makes all this pop music and he says he wants to be big as Michael Jackson and make all these pop hits. Drake seriously wants to be taken seriously as a rapper. He wants to be on that wall with these rappers, that Mount Rushmore, da-da-da-da-da. He knows the rules. He studies rap battles for a living. He knew that he couldn't let that Kendrick thing slide. He knew that. Let me see. Did I lose something? I lost the whole fucking chat. Let me know if y'all still with me. I lost my chat over here. Let me see something. Y'all still with me? Let me know, man. Let me know if y'all still see me. I see the chat still going. It stopped for a minute. Let me know if y'all still hear me. Liana, Poison Ivy. Let me know if I'm still on here. I see the chat. I see we back. Witch Priest Sims. We still here, man. Let me sip some water. What I was saying was, salute Ivy in the building, Tammy, Chapo, Sarah. What I was saying was, he knew he needed that battle to go his way, because what Homeboy is trying to say was his influence was waning in hip hop. And at the end of the day, no matter what's going on, he still wants his hip hop card to be stamped. So he knew if he didn't battle Kendrick, and there was a big ego thing going on, and they've been subbing each other for 10 years, and he was just talking crazy on that other, big as the Super Bowl, big as the what? The first person shooter. He was just talking crazy on that first person shooter. So he knew he had to show and prove on that battle. So it was no way he could duck that battle. All right. So end of the day, yes, he was gonna do that battle regardless. And what Homeboy's trying to say was he was falling down where he wasn't. His numbers were going down regardless. They want to say he got all these streams. A lot of that stuff is old, all the past, the back catalog. The new stuff, just like right now, ain't what's popping. What was popping is a lot of the old pop records. That's why he's still #1 streamer, this, that, and the third in the world. Okay, so when that battle came, he knew he had to do it, because if he didn't, he was going to look, guess what, soft. So end of the day, don't want to look soft, even though some could say he is. Okay, end of the day. Now, what Homeboy is trying to say so eloquently is that he wasn't the number. Before the battle, he wasn't going #1. People don't realize that it was a tough sledding with or without the battle. So it was, what Homeboy was saying was he was already going down anyway. So the battle would have put him back up. It was either that or completely take a real loss in every kind of way. So the battle was more of it was an ego thing. It was a thing where he just don't like Kendrick, and he wanted to. I think he was going to easily beat him. I think he was light work. I'm just going to be honest. So let me continue.
On not even doing it. But again, listen, I'm keeping it facts only, right? He literally walked off the biggest tour of his life and said, "Let me focus on myself and my health."
Yep. Did he?
That is literally what happened.
Did he do that?
For the people, he was focused on himself and his health,
and he put that aside to give us the biggest battle that we've seen.
He ain't give a shit. This was something he knew he ain't have no choice to do, especially after he saw the way J. Cole flopped him and bombed out and deleted the record. So he knew he couldn't have both of them looking crazy out here. So it was a lot going on. It wasn't like, I'm gonna do this for the people. None of this shit was for the people. Just like y'all try to make that lawsuit was for the people. We're gonna get to that too.
The biggest modern hip hop battle
right now, like limping to stage, like, oh, I gotta put these out for the people. Nah, Kendrick made moments. Kendrick brought people together, even if.
Can you guys hear the audio from the video? Let me know how that sound. Shorty, let me know.
You didn't like him. He brought moments into the people's lives. Listen, Super Bowl, can Drake do that? He can't. He's Canadian. Sorry.
So wait, what do you mean he can't do? He can't
do a Super Bowl.
Why not?
Because he doesn't have that same pull. He doesn't have that same.
He's literally been offered the Super Bowl.
Okay, I'm gonna get to Jay in a minute, but bro's wrong. I'm here to keep it a buck. Bro's wrong. Drake can most certainly do the Super Bowl. He could definitely do the Super Bowl. We're not even gonna start talking crazy. This guy's the biggest pop star on earth. One of the biggest is Taylor Swift, him and another motherfucker. Like, they the biggest pop stars on earth. He can 100% do the Super Bowl. Does he have something right now? No, but he don't got to do the new stuff. He can do the old stuff. Bring out 2 features, right? Fucking, I don't know. Bring out whoever, and then he can do the Super Bowl. So we're not gonna get crazy and act like this guy can't go up there and do the Super Bowl, right? So yes, that's not factual. That's not the topic, but. What Jay is going to start saying now, this is where Jay puts his foot in his mouth. He going to say he was offered the Super Bowl multiple times. Now, earlier in the video, you heard Jay chastise the other people that was combating or the Drake, the Kendrick bots or whatever. He was telling them, if you don't have facts, don't say it, right? He just tells you facts. It's not the third. Well, Jay is about to tell us that Drake was offered the Super Bowl multiple times. That is an internet. That is not factual. The NFL came out and said that he was never offered it in no uncertain terms, officially or unofficially. So based on what the NFL says, who is their Super Bowl, he was never offered it in any kind of way. So now Jay is about to tell you that he was offered it. Jay goes into fan mode right here. So Jay, you got to get a check mark right here for going into fan mode, because you have no idea what he was offered. Only person told us that he was offered the Super Bowl was Maul, right? Maul said Drake offered the Super Bowl 3 times. NFL came out immediately and said that's not true. So let's keep it a buck, Jay. Right here, you're doing what you're accusing us of saying shit that we don't have no facts about.
Multiple times. What was the last thing he put out, album-wise, outside of Party Next Door? It was something, Sticky?
For all the dogs.
For all the dogs. Okay, for all the dogs. That's not for all the people. That's for all the dogs, them. That was, oh my God.
So you have told me that Kendrick and Kanye have done more for the culture, but you have yet to point out what they have done. You said Kendrick gave the people a moment and united them.
Yes,
Drake is
Super Bowl.
How many moments has Drake given you over? I'm looking at the camera here. Look at the people at home. How many moments of your life has Drake given you?
So what Jay is talking about is like records. records. Do you guys remember a movie called Black Panther? You remember how people were lining up for that movie? How black people made that movie one of the biggest movies in history because we went out in droves. It made $1 billion, like without even trying, because a lot of black people, we dressed up. We were doing Wakanda Forever, and guess whose song is in that movie? All of the Stars. That's Kendrick Lamar and SZA. That song is a huge record to black people. That is a moment. And it's a cultural moment because we looked at Black Panther as a cultural moment. We looked at the Super Bowl as a cultural moment. We looked at the anthem, "We Gonna Be All Right." Culturally, we call that the black national anthem, low key. So we got so many moments. We can't even sit here and quantify them all. But what Jay is trying to tell you is, what kind of record came on the radio one day and you were jamming? Or like, what moments are we talking about with Drake? We can sit here all day and figure out what the moments are, and all of them ain't good. Let's just be honest. So before you put your foot in the mouth and say, what moments did Kendrick have? Let's think about this. Think this through, dog.
Not like us. Oh, you know what? People is not like us. He's not like us. He's not like us.
Drake is the antithesis of hip hop. Hip hop was born from struggle. It was born to uplift your community. It was born to educate and knowledge, and it was born to empower. Drake is
now. Salute the white boy. I missed his name. Let me see his name real quick. Mark Random. Mark Random X. White boy started off cooking. I'm gonna be honest. He was saying some of the deeper shit. They put him on because he was gonna say some deeper shit. Dude kind of went off the rails a little bit with his own rapping and shit. But other than that, Jay was like, "You wrote that? Let me get this straight. You wrote this rap?" But end of the day, homeboy had some real serious thoughts about the inner workings of hip hop, and a lot of times it'll take a white guy to come in and say some stuff that black dudes ain't even think about, because we looking at stuff on the surface level. Homeboy did come on and say some. He said some deeper shit, but he took this shit. It was rough. He's one of the guys that made it kind of rough. I'm gonna be honest. So I'm going to play homeboy, and we're gonna get there. But yeah, just take it with a grain of salt. He meant well. Let's just be honest. He meant well. Let me play this.
hip hop. Hip hop was born from struggle. It was born to uplift your community. It was born to educate and knowledge, and it was born to empower. Drake, his entire wave came from out of America, not Black America, came from Canada. He came from an industry, a Nickelodeon show. He then goes on chasing women, frivolous luxury spending. He goes on
Bro's
about
cooking.
just kind of club parts, which are a part of hip hop. But Kendrick represents, and this is crazy for me to say if you know who I am, but Kendrick represents not only the Black struggle, but overcoming. He may be the first rapper that talks about healing from generational trauma from slavery. Now, other rappers have in the past, but he's the only one that is actually trying to heal. Rappers from the 80s and 90s have taught, it actually comes from Gil Scott-Heron, who was the revolutionary. And I don't even fucking like Kendrick, and I know this about him. I don't like Kendrick.
You have to
and
say
I
this
know
so many
about
times.
him. I can observe this. I am beyond a guest in the culture. I'm an observer. I do not like Kendrick, and I can observe what he is doing. He's planting a seed that Lauryn Hill would you say Lauryn Hill literally has built what hip hop should be to the 5% and all of that. And Drake is the opposite, put on by a corporation, talking about chasing women, frivolous sex. That's destruction of family.
All right. I got to stop you. We got to stop this. This is just.
So I get it, Jay. You didn't want to hear, but white boy was cooking. He was talking about a lot of real stuff that does matter to hip hop too. It ain't just about partying. And you're going to go on to talk about how partying is essential to hip hop. Well, this real shit that homeboy was talking about too, how Drake character plays a part. You're going to say the most influential, but you don't want to talk about how he's out here running up on all these through these women, doing all this gambling online at stake, and all this other shit he got going on.
Nonsense here. You're talking about the birth of hip hop here. Let me give you a little history lesson. I know people talk about the party at Sedgwick Avenue. Before that happened, do you know that the seeds of hip hop were already brewing, and they actually started in parties? The first call and response.
That's the grandfather.
Listen,
that was revolutionary.
Well, let me tell you about my father. Okay, my father is Jerry Roebuck, who was one of the first of
Salute to Jerry
hip-hop
Roebuck.
party promoters. Right, he took hip hop artists to Motown, and they laughed at him and said rap would never be a thing. In these parties, with call and response on DJs over the breakbeat, it was about community. It was about uplifting. You're talking, and Drake does those things as well. You keep saying, "Oh, Drake is the antithesis of
So
these
who
things."
made the barbecue song? Drake or Kendrick?
Drake. Just a bunch of. So what are you
Who
talking
made
about?
the party anthem of the year?
Who's
Drake or
made the
Kendrick?
party anthem for 20 years? You just told me that parties were a negative thing. You just told me chasing
No, I
women
didn't,
was
didn't
a
say that.
negative
parties
thing.
were a negative thing. I
Those
said
things,
the
those
frivolous
things are all.
materialism.
Those things are
Parties and culture
what,
is,
what does
which is what Kendrick
okay,
made.
Let me.
They Not Like Us
allow,
is a chant that would be in the film Sinners, that it goes through history.
Allow me to
They
go.
Not Like Us.
There's so much to go into here, right? So you got to let me just
They
go
edited
through
white
your
boy
questions.
right
You said a lot. No, it's okay. It's a great back and forth, and you bring up some great points.
I'm like Kanye with my brain.
That's okay. That's why I want to respond. So when we talk about what hip hop does reflect street urban culture. That is a fact.
Struggle.
And it's more than just struggle, right? Hip hop was created. It is a part of it, but also hip hop was created in a college dorm room, right? Struggle does not look the same for all people.
I get it. He's trying to say Def Jam, Rick Rubin and Russell Simmons. They created hip hop, and hip hop was created way before that. But they did make hip hop in a college dorm room. That is part of it. And Def Jam is a seminal label. We're not going to lie and do nothing and say that's not true. But White Boy has a real good point, and Jay is kind of dismissive of it. And I think that was unfair.
Right? Hip hop is not a monolith. Hip hop is a diverse thing.
Right.
Hip hop also has changed. What my dad's first version of hip hop in the late 70s or 80s doesn't reflect hip hop of the 90s. Hip hop of the 90s doesn't reflect hip hop of the 2010s
Facts.
and the 2020s. This is an ever changing genre. So because someone talks about frivolous materialism,
hold up, let me start that. So it's an ever changing genre, but it's always rooted in substance. At the end of the day, what we revere after we get home with these parties, we still want to talk about something. The Message was a very seminal record. They wasn't rapping like that, and once they did, it changed hip hop forever. Once we got The Message, Grandmaster Flash, Furious 5, this, that, and the third. Once that record came out, it never went back to all we do is party all day. Okay, so once we got that to that level, people wanted to hear some substance. Everybody didn't want to hear partying, so you can't dismiss one or the other. They both exist and they both have a place in the space. But at the end of the day, when we start talking about the best rappers, the most influential, is it a party rapper? When we start naming the top 10, how many of them are party rappers? The people that get the most respect in the hood, how many of them are party rappers? Like, let's be honest. When we start doing top 10, top 20, do your top 20. How many of them are partying? Like, we really don't revere that in hip hop for real. That's something that's cool, but do that over there. We rapping over here. So when we start rapping over here, how many of them party records gonna make it over there? It ain't gonna be many.
Drake songs are you listening to? Because there's Drake songs about materialism, just like there are Kendrick songs about it.
Facts.
There are Drake songs about love, just like there are Kendrick songs about love. There are Drake songs about God's plan, which is about inspiring people. And the whole video was.
Let's be honest. He stole God's plan as a way to get back to XXXTentacion. But let's give him that. That is a record about that. End of the day, let's just be honest. It ain't that many God's plan records. And God's plan ain't that deep like you're trying to make it. So let's just be honest. You got to reach far and wide to hear any. We can go to any Kendrick album and hear something deep. How many Drake albums do we got to dig through? Mad songs. This nigga got 515 songs allegedly, some shit like that. How many of them joints are you going to really get deep on? Right? Michael Eric Dyson tried to get deep, and the only thing he could come up with is I'm light-skinned, but I'm still a dark N-word. Right? That's the deepest this nigga gonna get. Some surface level shit where he questioning his own self. He colorized himself.
Put towards empowering people by giving them money to chase a college scholarship, to chase their dreams, to help families. So it's all about what you're choosing to highlight. It's not what he is as a person or who he is as a career. I don't want to make personal judgments about who he chases. I don't care if he sleeps with 20 women or 1 million women. It doesn't affect me. That's that man's personal choice.
It wouldn't if Kendrick did, but it's what you're putting out there. Drake puts out, hey, you know what, kids? It's really cool to just spend a bunch of money to chase a bunch of women, get your heart broken, not care about people.
He's
Kendrick,
cooking.
whether he does in his personal life, puts out, it's not cool to disrupt your family. It's not cool to be cheating and sleeping with hundreds of women. It's not cool to.
And again, who are the.
Wait, Jay, you can't dismiss that because that's what you're saying is influencing hip hop. You're telling us that a guy who gambles all day, sex all night, and do all this shit in the embassy, God knows what's going on all over the world, no wife, this, that, and the third, right? We do see him with his son, right? But at the end of the day, how much of that's going on now? We're saying the most influential hip hop as a person, you influence in a lot of ways. It ain't just one or two. It's a whole bunch of ways that you influence people. And I don't know if all that stuff is that influential. Kendrick's at home with one woman, right? And if we're gonna start if we're gonna say you're influential, your lifestyle matters. They said Drake got a studio in the strip club, gang. What we talking about? I don't know if that's true or not, right? That's what they saying allegedly. So he's writing rhymes in the studio in the strip club, but that's what we talking about.
Who? First of all, if you're looking for a music artist to tell you how to live your life, you've already made a mistake.
That right there is a cop out. Jay, you just did a cop out. Instead of answering all that, you pretty much dismissed it and try to say, well, he don't got to raise your kids. We're not talking about that. You're trying to prove that he's the most influential, and we talking about at what? And when you peel back the layers, Jay, you really only saying because he sells a lot of records. Most of the shit is selfish shit. He talking about himself. He talking about the fun he's having with these women, and that's about it. And gambling on stake. So you're really not saying much of nothing. You're trying to make him into this whatever, right? He's the most influential hip hop, and we're disagreeing. You're being dismissive and telling us we're wrong. You're not making no real points like you think, Jay. Let's just be honest.
My next claim is Drake is not wrong for suing UMG after the battle.
How is he not wrong for suing because the song got too popular?
Dude name is Mums. He sound like he's from New England. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know where he's from, but dude name is Mums. This is the next guy. Let me let him cook.
Okay, well,
I want to say out of everybody that came up there, Mums was probably most unprepared up there. I'm gonna be honest.
View it, right? I think there's a very surface way to view it, which I think is what you just said. Well, he sued because the song is popular. Mm-hmm. There's a lot more to that. Okay. You have to view it from a business perspective and $100 million or $1 billion perspective, right? If you feel your job or your employer has wronged you or used manipulative tactics to harm you during a negotiation period, there is nothing wrong with exercising your right and suing them, or at least trying to uncover why it happened and how you could correct.
But he popularized. I mean,
Hold on. Let me say that. So Jay took it to a business level. If your employer has wronged you, first of all, Drake is a multi-million-dollar industry in and of himself. His brand is allegedly worth $400 million because UMG gave him a $400 million loan, which he paid back allegedly. In due time, paid it back really quickly, according to them. Like, he paid that back, Charles, 2 years, da-da-da. We're not dealing with employer shit right here. This is some other shit. So we can't use if your boss is mean. No, nigga, this motherfucker got a whole lot of bargaining power. This ain't no average worker. This ain't no motherfucker going to see HR. This nigga he literally has the most power of probably any artist in this shit, unless his contract really fucked up, like they saying. At the end of the day, Jay, you good to try to diminish, like make him into this victim. All of a sudden, he's getting punked by his label. But let's play this out. So let's say he it's a business deal, like these guys trying to tell you. And let me reiterate what they're trying to say. He did the $400 million contract with UMG. All of this is in the lawsuit. So this is all stuff in the lawsuit, right? He had a certain dollar amount with UMG on the table, right? He's in negotiation. So you might ask yourself, any sane person be like, well, why are you getting a rap battle if he's in negotiation for $400 million? Well, it's ego. And at the same time, he thought he was going to beat him easily. He thought he was going to raise up to 500. He's going to be like, after I take out your little man, your little minion, then I want 500 million, right? That's what he's thinking. And some of his fans went so far as like, Drake is asking for $1 billion. They think he's going to get $1 billion. So at the end of the day, he supposedly was going to take out Kendrick real quick. He didn't think about losing. This is the part that Jay not understanding. He didn't think he was going to lose. So Jay is like, from Jay's point of view, the only way the lawsuit makes sense is if UMG orchestrated it against them. How could UMG make him battle? They can't. Okay, let's start there. They never talk about how can UMG have forced him to battle Kendrick. There's no way to force him to battle Kendrick. They could have made Kendrick say anything in the world. And you got to remember, the pedophile record didn't come out until after Drake engaged in a battle. This is what they don't tell you. Kendrick did like that. That's just bait. He could have ignored that and went on with his negotiations. But he wants us to believe that Lucien Grange sat down with Kendrick and somehow created this plot that once we get the battle cooking, we're going to bait him and he's going to take it. And then you're going to call him a pedophile and ruin his name. This sounds dumb as fuck. So at the end of the day, they want you to think some illogical shit. Now, a logical person gonna be like, well, I got $400 million of contract on I got $400 million, $500 million allegedly. He supposedly had a deal. These are these conspiracies that these Drake fans say. He supposedly had a $500 million deal on the table from Sony. Right, so he was in the middle of negotiations, and Kendrick came and ruined all that. So that's why Jay is going to tell you the lawsuit matters. First of all, you don't sue over a rap battle. The guy can say anything, and you said anything back to him. You both said heinous shit to each other, which Jay admittedly don't agree with neither one of them. Really, I'm kind of questioning Jay's whole shit because he don't think Drake should have said what he said to Kendrick, and Kendrick shouldn't have said what he said to Drake. So I'm like, Jay, do you really understand this battle shit, gang? Like, you really. He's going to say it and hear that he don't agree with none of them saying what they said. I'm like, bro, Jay, are you serious? Then you're not really qualified to have this conversation because then you're going to side on the right of suing. You're going to side on the right. If you don't understand hip hop battles and you're saying they shouldn't have said these really mean things, they deserve to be sued, then we shouldn't even be talking about this to you, because you're thinking that a battle is something you could sue for. It doesn't matter if they just sued the label. They want to play semantics. Well, he didn't sue Kendrick. He sued the label. He shouldn't sue anybody because he got called a name in a battle that he engaged in on his own, which he threw stones before. People say like that was not a diss record. Like that said a couple things. 2 niggas on stage holding hands. Ain't no big 3. He didn't really diss the nigga. He said some slick shit, but they've been subbing each other for 10 fucking years. Nobody made an out and out record. J. Cole made the first out and out record with 2-3 verses. He's the first one out of the big 3 to do it. It's just a fact. They all have been taking subs for 10 years. So at the end of the day, in that frame, since the Control verse, they've been subbing. So nobody dissed nobody. So end of the day, J. Cole struck first and Drake struck second. So I don't know how Drake got baited in anything when he made a whole record before Kendrick did. So what we're talking about is a battle. So he made some shit. Kendrick said, keep it friendly. Don't bring the family in. What's the first thing this nigga did? Whitney. He did all this shit. Dave Free. So first thing first, he brought that shit in there. So then that's where it got ugly. So at that point, it was like, oh, this is what we doing. Okay, then bang. I'm gonna do a record talking to your mom, your dad, and your son, and your daughter. Right. And they want to say, where's the fucking daughter? Who gives a fuck? It was a lot of shit said, who gives a fuck? We don't care no more. He lost the battle. End the story. Nobody gives a fuck who the daughter is or where is that. It don't matter. It's a fucking battle. Right? Niggas don't know. Nas said Rockefeller died of AIDS. That's the end of his chapter. And that's the guy you chose to name your company after. Rockefeller didn't die of no fucking AIDS. Who gives a fuck? It's a battle. So if Jay don't understand what a battle's about, we embellish, we say stuff hyperbolic. We don't. It's not going to be fucking accurate from the fucking like encyclopedia. Well, let me check Google and make sure fuck out of here's a battle. So if you understand battles, you know they're going to embellish, they're going to elaborate. So we don't give a fuck if it's allowed or not. Do it sound good? Did he diss the nigga? Yes. So Drake lost. So at the end of the day, he going to go sue for losing. You're going to say, Charles, he's not suing for losing. He is suing for losing because when he lost the battle, he said that they botted the record to make it seem more popular than it was, which he ended up taking that out of the lawsuit. He said they botted the record to make it seem more popular. They did how much they bought? 50,000. 50,000? Are you fucking dumb? What is 50,000 going to do for a record like that? It don't make no sense. This shit's in the billions, dog. What we talking about? So end of the day, their whole claim is that the record defamed him and it made him lose money. Well, he's the #1 stream artist in the world. There goes that fucking shit. At the end of the day, almost everything in the lawsuit he put in, they took it out. He claimed they was botting. He claimed that Spotify was helping. He claimed UMG was help. All that shit. They took Spotify out. They took iHeart out, and they took the bots out because they couldn't prove the bots. That's why you don't hear nothing about no bots. And when he first put the lawsuit together, he was saying that this is going to be what he said. Later in this interview, you're going to hear Jay say, well, Drake never said that, but they were claiming that Drake was doing this for the little man. He was doing this because he lost the battle, his feelings was hurt, and he was trying to reverse the narrative, and he's trying to get a little money because he's mad at Lucien Grange for letting it happen. The lawsuit clearly says they allow him to say these things about me. That's clearly what the lawsuit says. So the whole lawsuit premise is UMG should have stopped them from saying it. Just like they blocked Pusha T when Pusha T was on Def Jam and he had Kendrick feature, they blocked it. And Pusha T had to leave Def Jam, had to buy his contract out for him and his brother to go away. They said he said you could take the clips wherever, but Pusha T, you still signed here. The motherfucker had to pay millions to get out of the contract because they wouldn't let Kendrick rap on the song, which they were trying to block the shit. And he's thinking, well, if you did it for that time, you should have did it this time. So the whole lawsuit is based on UMG should have stopped it. They should have blocked it. That's what the lawsuit is really fucking about. So he's trying to sit here and defend some bullshit. Okay? If you really want to know. So at the end of the day, the lawsuit ain't about no fucking money because he never lost a fucking dollar. He's the #1 stream artist in the world. Jay, if you know so fucking much. So at the end of the day, let's have a conversation. That's what the lawsuit's about. So what we're going to do right here is tell Jay that no, it's wrong. In the context of hip hop, of a battle, you don't sue for what a motherfucker said to you. That's just not how this works.
Gained from that same method that he claims Kendrick and Universal used.
What method did he gain from?
He said the numbers are fake. They were using streaming farms, all that stuff to make that song bigger than it really was. No, the song was great because it was telling all of the stuff and explaining, breaking down your lies. Now, not yours, his lies. So basically, he was breaking down how Universal is the worst ever, but when it was his time in battles against Meek, against he never really went against Pusha T, but when he tried to say anybody else, yeah, it benefited him or any song that he want to do like Hotline Bling, and they would say, okay, let's inflate the number so it could be really great. Okay, you're gonna win a Grammy now. That's what he was going for, and it was cool. It wasn't until it was a diss track about him that it became a problem.
Okay. You're making a lot of assumptions here, and I'll try to root my arguments in fact and what we can prove versus what we can. In a lawsuit that isn't finished, it's hard to prove certain things, but there are things that we can look at and rely on as.
Jay, the lawsuit finished, Jay. Lawsuit got dismissed, Jay. The appeal ain't going nowhere, Jay. Lawsuit is over. Just so you know, me and you know that the lawsuit over, Jay. Just so there's no confusion. It ain't going nowhere. It's over. So you can talk freely.
Bible sources. When you say he benefited from inflated numbers or fake stream or streaming farms, what evidence do you have to point that the label has done those things, Frank?
This is why I wouldn't get into this conversation about the bots, because nobody can prove that. So talking to Jay, who's going to hit you with this, what he's telling you, you got to say stuff that's actual, factual, even though he uses conjecture himself, but he's going to pin you to facts and make you say who bought it, this, that, and the third. We all know about these bots, but you can't prove it in this situation. This is why this is a setup, it's rigged, and you won't win in this conversation. But moms don't know that. He's going to try to do it anyway.
I would say, what was it, For the Dogs? Was not a great album. Okay. I can say a lot of his albums weren't great. This last good album was with 21 Savage when he stole 21 Savage Stop.
Shouldn't have said
like
that.
He does with every other album.
Oh my God.
With every other artist. He does. That's what he does.
Okay.
That's what he does. He links up with artists. He try to steal their swag, their style.
He's right.
Their fans, so it could be his fans. That's all.
You know what?
Does.
I didn't think I would say this when I came here today. I agree with you. They're not good albums. They're not good albums. They're great albums, and some of them are classic albums.
So right here, this is a fan talking. He's saying they're good albums, they're great albums, they're classic. He's not hearing none of that. All that shit was true, but to Jay, it's all nonsense because he disagrees with you, and that's fine. That's why he shouldn't have went down that road of trying to say, "Oh, the albums are bad," because this guy don't want to hear that. You need to tell him factual shit because that's conjecture or subjective to say the album is good, this, that, and the third. Because he's not going to give you that one.
You're right. Now, this is the reason why I say that. Now, again, you say what you don't like. That's your preference. That's personal opinion. And maybe your music taste just is not that great, which is that could be possible. And I will tell you this, you know why I know they're great albums and you know why I know that he's not benefiting from fake streams? Did you look at the Billboard 200 within the past maybe 30 days?
No, I have not.
Do you know that he is the first artist to ever have 10 albums charting consecutively on the Billboard 200? So let me play by your theory. You believe...
But wait, before we start there, Jay is the same person that just told us that the lawsuit is, ain't this what the theme is? The lawsuit, or that was the other one. He just told us that the lawsuit, it's the right thing to do. The lawsuit says he was damaged by, he was defamed and damaged by being called a pedophile. That hurt his brand, that hurt his name. People believed it, this, that, and the third. But somehow they also want you to believe that he's the #1 artist in the world. He got 10 albums on the Billboard right now. So there was absolutely no damage. There's no defamation. So there is no lawsuit. But Jay doesn't want to acknowledge that. Jay wants both things to be true. That he called them a bad name, and they both called each other a bad name, but he called them a name so egregious and so bad, he needs to be sued. And the label needs to be sued. Why? Ask Jay, why is he suing UMG? The bottom line answer is because they let him say it. That's the bottom line answer. So now we're not only saying that he can't say it, we're saying that they shouldn't have let him say it. That's why UMG is being sued, because they let him say it.
That he has these fake numbers and these fake streams, but he's still being botted a decade later from Take Care. Does that make any sense? And again, he's in a...
No. So that's what I'm saying. Don't get into the botting conversation. It is what it is. We're not going to prove that. Botting is irrelevant. We don't care. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about him, the lawsuit, him being influential in hip hop, and whatever else we said, that he's the greatest, whatever.
Of litigation, right? We're still uncovering documents. So do you?
No, we're not.
Well, let me finish now.
We're not uncovering documents. I need Jay to stop this narrative. We're not still discovering. There is no uncovering documents. He can't submit nothing. He can't add nothing to the appeal. The case is over. So we're not uncovering no documents.
You believe that while he's suing the label for these tactics, that he would be engaging in the same thing that he's suing them for in the middle of a lawsuit?
All right, you tried to say that. How do we know that Drake is coming up with these? Of course he knows how the stream...
Let me just note for the record, that was an edit. He edited out whatever came after that. And this is why this thing is kind of wonky, because stuff is getting edited out. You don't know how dudes retorted. Dudes got accused of getting cooked and they didn't get their full thoughts out. A lot of things didn't air. This thing is an hour video, and you see that a lot of stuff didn't make it. they had 20 minutes per round. So I know it's tough to edit, but it is what it is. Let me continue.
Being botted when he's been a beneficiary of the botting. He labeled it out in his lawsuit through the litigation, in the paperwork. He says that they're using X, Y, and Z. They're paying for streamers to play the music, to promote it on YouTube and promote it on streams, because he's received the same benefits, these same tactics were used for him. So he was able to recognize when it was being done to him. So that's why I'm like, wait, what are you talking about? Like, and it's foul for him to say that, okay, I get to do it, and now when somebody else does it to me, now all of a sudden now it's a problem. Now we can't sue. All right, you only trying to sue me because you trying to get into this beef because my fault, I said the beef. I said sue me. He only knew that Kendrick was trying to get into the beef because you're trying to inflate your stream, trying to sell some albums because it's been a while for you. So let me engage in this beef with you, and then when it doesn't go your way, now you want to play the lawyer game. Yeah, that's automatically an L for you. You know what this looks like in a battle rap? Yes, he's not suing Kendrick. He's suing the label. But in a battle rap, you already know what the perception of that is. And Drake always loves to play these games of setting rules in battles. When it was him versus Pusha T, it was, oh, I had it this, but it was too far.
Facts.
Like, what rule? Who said it was too far? Put it out. Let the people hear it. All of a sudden, it comes these arbitrary rules on, oh, this is what's allowed and what's not allowed. Like, just do it. But all of a sudden, when it looks bad on you, now it was when it was Pusha T, it was I didn't like the man I was becoming. I couldn't put it out because now all of a sudden you have to turn yourself into the victim. And I got to get back to the good stuff. I got to get back to what's pure. Like no, every time he tries to, when he's taking an L, he tries to take that moment and repurpose it to make it seem as if no, I'm doing something great for the culture. Because remember when he first put out the lawsuit, it was under the frame of this is gonna help all the artists because we gonna see what happens with all the bots and all the streams.
Okay. May I go?
Go ahead.
You said a lot, but I'm going to respond to the last part first. You said it was framed as what he was doing would help all artists. Did he ever frame it like that?
Yeah. Oh, I love that. He said, did he ever frame it like that? If he didn't, a lot of motherfuckers thought he did because Rory made the whole interview, a whole video about he don't know about this, that, and the third. But what he does know that Drake is trying to help the little man, this, that, and the third. And that was an honorable thing. If he had nothing else to say, that he was going to say that part of the lawsuit was a great part. So somebody thought he said that. So first of all, Drake, all the shit you defending Drake on, he never said none of it. So you got a whole lot of defense for Drake, but he never said it. So now Homeboy says what was common knowledge at the time, that this was supposed to be some kind of thing for the little man, that he was going to straighten out for the younger artists so they wouldn't have to go. And it's in the lawsuit paperwork, it's in the goddamn petition. But you're going to say, did Drake ever say that? That's dishonest. You're being disingenuous. No, he never said that, but he never said a lot of shit, but you're still up here caping for him. Let's just be honest. So no, he didn't say that, but in the petition, it was a lot of stuff that insinuated that that's what that was for, that UMG was this big conglomerate that was skewing numbers and using bots in their common day practices. He had to take that out because he couldn't prove it. Remember, they was looking for the bot maker, Cujo. They wanted to subpoena Cujo, and they couldn't find him. They asked the court to let him subpoena him through email. Remember all that? They chasing Cujo all around. Cujo like, what the fuck I do? Cujo running from here and there and everywhere. They still ain't find a nigga. So end of the day, no, he never said it, but he did a whole lot of shit to insinuate that.
When he put it out saying that this is what UMG is using these tactics for bots.
Did he frame it like that?
That's how it could be interpreted.
No, it wasn't interpreted. It was framed like that in the paperwork.
That's how it could be interpreted.
So you made that interpretation.
He's trying to cook, dude. He's not cooking them.
Which is probably what he's been advised to not do, to not speak on it, right? So he's never framed it as anything. People have read it and interpreted it as that, and actually that interpretation is the right way to view it. Let's say this.
So hold up, Jay, you just did all that grandstanding, right? Guys, I need you to understand what's happening right now. I need you to understand what's happening. My guy Jay just did all that, but did he say that? He went on this whole spiel about did he say that? And then he goes, that is the proper way to view it. So you're grandstanding. That's what you're doing. You're trying to play games with this guy. You're trying to make him look like he's fumbling and then say, well, you know what? You are correct. So these guys will say something correct. Jay's going on some snob shit right now. I'm just going to be honest. And he's trying to grandstand him and like, well, actually, you know what? In a roundabout way, for the first time tonight, you actually were right. I'm going to give you that one. So no, don't make it like he's wrong and then say he's right. It's some bullshit.
Lawsuit is successful. And let's say even from the documents that we've seen and you talked about, the tactics that the label has used, it peels back the layers because honestly, when things are botted, the people who it hurts the most are the artists.
Facts.
Right? Spotify, which is one of the main people who he points at here, he's called them botify on a number of occasions.
Yes.
It's one big pool of money, and whoever has the biggest share or the lion's share of streams receives the biggest payout. So if an artist is artificially inflating their streams, it affects all the other artists who have the music on this platform whose music is not being consumed. So yeah, if you look at the lawsuit, there are things that could benefit all artists, or there are things that could benefit the culture, because I think we all want a fair perception of who's the more popular artist. I don't think no one wants to look at the numbers and say, should I believe this?
So under Jay's logic, then nobody's botting, and Drake is not botting. No one, everybody else is botting but Drake under this logic. But what Jay's not being honest about is there are 2 lawsuits right now that's claiming that he is botting. Kendrick not in none of those. No, he's probably the only person right now with 2 lawsuits against him about botting. Right? Is RBX from the Aftermath Records, Dr. Dre, this, that, and third. He's in a class action lawsuit right now, claiming Drake of botting a whole lot of bots, and they saying they got the proof. And if you listen to the proof, it's really going to be tough to say that it's not true. So there are 2 cases already, not to mention the case against him and Stake about the online gambling in Missouri. All right, dead ass. Let me continue.
I don't want to be a consumer that says, oh, I don't really trust this.
Hold up, let me get to this super chat. Tiptoe Joe, appreciate you. Said Drake's like a vampire sucking rappers' talent and swag because he has none.
But unfortunately, we've been conditioned to be this way because we know that botting exists. But then you also talked about, well, he's benefited from these things and he took an L and he's trying to repurpose it. The public perception is an L. I agree with you. But I don't think him suing was him trying to vindicate himself. He's not an idiot. I think once he knows.
How could it not be trying to vindicate himself? There is really no other reason to do this unless you're saying something was wrong with me. I was wrong some kind of way. Right? Like I told you, you can't be suing for money because you didn't lose anything. So what are you suing for? You got to remember, this guy's emotions was all over the place when that battle was going on. You heard the Heart Part 6. The dude gave up on record. He gave up on the record. Like, you won. I'm tired. You did a record. It's kind of cool, but end of the day, I'm tired. So we saw him give up. This guy was dejected. Next thing he did was call his lawyers. Stop trying to make it like it's not an emotional action. It is emotional. Because it was too early to even know if he was going to be, when Not Like Us dropped, it was too early to know if his career was going to be affected. It was just a record. This guy started gathering up his lawyers for the damn battle, gang. Come on, man, it ain't making no sense.
That he sued, people are going to clown you for it. But what is more valuable? Are you looking at this as someone who's, I'm just only looking at this from a rap perspective, or are you looking at this from a business perspective? This is this man's livelihood. So if he feels a label cheated him out of 100, 200, 300,
how they cheat him. Ask Jay how they cheated him. How did UMG cheated him? How did UMG cheat him out of the 400? They gave him a $400 million loan. Allegedly, he paid it back. They were allegedly negotiating the next deal, allegedly. Some of you guys say renegotiation, which means he still owes him a lot of money. And some of you guys say he paid it all back. Well, if he paid it all back, then he has all the cards. He don't need to negotiate anything. They got to pay him or he can dip. Ain't no whole lot of back and forth. If he's a $400-500 million man, then there ain't no whole lot of back and forth about it. We ain't got to do no whole lot of negotiation. What are we negotiating? The negotiation is because he still owes him money. You don't just give him, they don't give you $400 million, you give him $400 million back. Don't work like that, gang. Just in case you didn't know. It's called a loan. You don't just give it back. It's interest on, it's all kind of shit. They got a lot of stipulations, this, that, and the third, that got to be met. They're not in the building to just give you back $400 million. No, it don't work like that. So end of the day, it's a whole lot more to this that meets the eye, because he's sitting there claiming they devalue you. You can't devalue me if I don't have a contract with you. End of the day, if everything is swiped away clean, there's nothing to devalue you about. End of the day, go to Sony with the $500 million deal that they keep trying to tell us is on the table. Go take that. What we doing? Why didn't he take that after the battle? Oh, it's just that word hurt him so bad he couldn't get the $500 million. Makes some sense, dog. It ain't making no sense. It ain't making the lawsuit makes no sense no matter how you slice it up. He called me a really bad word. Well, is it true? No. Well, then what the fuck you in court for? Because I want the word to know it's not true. What if you stop talking about it? What the fuck? Nobody's gonna care. You're still talking about it. You make the song. Every time the song die down, you do something else to make the song come back up. Every single time. People forget about it. Then you add something to the lawsuit. You change something. You do something. Remember, this dude Drake. Do y'all remember? There's a video of Drake at a show. He plays Not Like Us and starts dancing to it, and then he laughs and then he cuts it off. Y'all don't remember that? So he's making fun of it. So how damaged are you if you're making fun of the record? It happened. So what we doing?
$1 million. Why would he not exercise that right to see what's going on?
I got you. When you engage in a battle, what is the purpose of that battle?
To win.
In a rap battle, to win.
To win.
To be seen as what?
It's a victor.
As the victor, the best rapper. So in rapping, to be the best rapper, we don't sue each other. That's the culture of rap.
Facts.
So when you engage in the battle, you're not doing it on the purpose
Well,
of,
he's not suing Kendrick Lamar.
but you're suing. You're not supposed to sue at all. Yes, he's not suing Kendrick Lamar.
You just said that Drake makes up these rules, but you just made up your own rule.
No, that's the rule of battling. It's we're gonna go at each other.
Did we assign, who made the rules?
No, because he's doing it for himself. He said
Jay's being disingenuous. There are rules in hip hop that you don't sue for it. You don't cry about losing. You don't get mad. You don't swing and punch. Matt Hoffa. You don't punch nobody. You don't slap nobody. It's a battle. You lose or you win and you move on with your life. You don't call your lawyers. So you're being disingenuous, Jay, trying to make it like it's okay to call your lawyers. It ain't, because the battle is not a corporate action. You don't battle for a corporate, anything that happened from that corporate wise, unless he thought he's gonna get a whole lot of money when he won that battle. Why the thought of him losing never comes to the conversation? It's only about what would have happened. Well, he jumped in it because he's doing this, that, and the third. Well, he never thought about losing. He didn't think about losing until he lost. It makes no sense to keep saying, well, it's a corporate thing, it's a job. It's not corporate. Battle and corporate don't go hand in hand. You can't drag in corporation shit when we doing rap street battles. It don't work. And Jay's trying to make it like it does work. It don't.
that, oh, I want my money. I'm doing this for me. I'm engaging in this lawsuit because I want more money.
If that could be one of the reasons, sure.
That was the reason that he said.
So
He said I was renegotiating a deal with my label, and then they didn't pay me the money, or now they inflated the streams to make it seem like
why is that wrong?
Because
why do we have to tell you? We keep telling you it's wrong. Well, we're telling you it's wrong. And you're like, but why is that wrong? Just say you don't believe it and move on. Stop saying that you acting like disingenuous why you don't know. We keep telling you it's not hip hop. We don't sue in battles. It's just that simple. And you're like, why is that wrong? It is what it is. If you're not going to hear about the rules, then what we talking about? It's rules to this shit. There ain't no imaginary rules. They didn't make them up. They're rules. You don't act like a bitch when you lose a battle.
Engaged in the battle. You knew that was the risk. Going into it, you know, if you already know.
So he engaged in a battle and knew that a label would use certain tactics to devalue him in contract negotiations.
Exactly.
He should not have said exactly, because that's not what we're saying. We're not saying that the label did anything because the label didn't do shit. That's what the lawsuit is trying to lose, which got thrown out, dismissed in the court. The lawsuit tried. These are trumped up charges just to try to save face in the battle. Now you do know. Let's stop being disingenuous, Jay. If he would have lost that, if he would have won that lawsuit, it would have negated everything that was happening in the battle. Stop acting disingenuous, dog. You guys would have been like, I told you, Drake won. They still saying Drake won right now. Somebody went in my comments 2 days ago. This guy still thinks Drake lost. So these motherfuckers saying he won right now. Imagine had he won the lawsuit. Jay, you know what this shit's about. This shit is about, it's trying to reverse the lawsuit. It has nothing to do with no UMG. What kind of monetary could he get from it? He got no losses to say what he lost. This is to reverse the battle. You know it and I know it. You're being disingenuous or you just don't know that.
I don't think that that's true. And I don't think there's
because if it was done to benefit him, he wouldn't have said nothing.
But again, how do you know?
How do I know that what?
That if these things were done for him or not done for him?
Because if you would have won, you wouldn't have said nothing. Would you have sued if you would have won? If the perception was, if the perception of the culture was Drake won the battle, do you think he would have still sued the label for saying that he called me?
If it hurt him in contract negotiations, I do believe that that's a possibility. But again, I'm not him, and you're not.
So it's not about the allegations.
Well, none of us are him, but we're asking you your thoughts. If he would have won, would he have sued the label? What would he have sued him for? Let me just explain to you what's happening. It's like two dudes in the school fighting. Two dudes about to fight. The teachers out there, and the teacher's like, you know what, Ronnie, Bobby, y'all been at each other for months, years at this point, and you guys actually want to fight. You know what? I'm going to step back and watch you fight. And it's like Bobby goes and knock the shit out of Ronnie, and or Mike or whoever it is, knocks him out. This nigga gets up, goes home, tells his mom, and they come sue the teacher for letting them fight and not stopping the fight. This is what it is. Even though they both bucked up and said they wanted to fight, and one of them jumped out there and swung first. The one that swung first got his ass knocked out, and now he want to sue the school and sue the teacher. That's what this is about. And at the end of the day, you wanted to fight. You wanted to knuckle up because you thought you could beat the Lord nigga, and you didn't. It's just that simple.
About the song being promoted.
Well, again, it's the lawsuit is multi-layered, right? It's impossible to just say, all right, it's about this one thing. That's why there are multiple claims, right? Number one, the defamation part. Number two, he talked about illegal business practices, which was a part that was focused in New York. Number three, he talked about the botting. Number 4, he talked about whitelisting of the song so that streamers could react to it. So there's multiple layers. He wanted to see Kendrick's deal that he signed like 2 or 3 days before the record was put out. So there's a lot of things. And defamation is a hard thing to prove, but the crux of the case, he has to prove the defamation for the other parts to move forward.
Yeah, and you have to be able to prove that there was a loss. In order to prove defamation, you have to prove that there was a loss in like your reputation and deals and everything was put down.
Yeah.
So in order to engage in that, to say that, all right, now I know that I'm taking an L on certain areas, like I'm being hit financially because my state deal is not as much as it used to be. Or the main thing is my record deal that I'm trying to renegotiate right now is now being used against me because y'all are using the same bots. All the tactics that he pointed out that Kendrick was using was also being used for him at one point in time.
But again, that's what the last person just claimed, but I just proved that that's not true.
What do you mean that's not true?
When
after the lawsuit came out, and then Spotify, they put out something, they said that we're going to remove some bots, and then a whole bunch of artists' streams went down. Drake's numbers went down too.
No, they didn't. Actually, Drake's the biggest streaming.
That's why I don't argue that.
The battle
I don't argue that.
Releasing a solo project.
Yeah,
don't argue with the streams, this kind of third. Nobody knows exactly what it is. It's just no reason to get into it. Because they're never going to say that it happened.
Everybody's monthly listeners went down.
No, that's not true.
Don't even talk about that. You waste your time.
It wasn't as big as all these other artists.
His numbers didn't go down. He literally had his best streaming year ever. That's a fact. My next claim is Family Matters was the best diss track from the battle.
I love that you said that, right? Because I do like Drake, right? It's not one of those, I got black friends. I do like Drake. Even still, loving Kendrick.
All right.
Family Matters was a tough record. Very tough record. Like, I listened to that one, I'm like, this is the one, right? It's like almost like when Jay went against Nas. It's like Nas dropped the Ether, and then Jay dropped Takeover, but he really dropped Super Ugly.
Mm-hmm.
I looked at Family Matters as a tough record, right? Bar for bar. But again, like I said earlier, the reason why Not Like Us went crazy, I think, is because the fans were more galvanized by their hate for Drake, right? Not just because they hate Drake, because they hate him. It's like we feeling you're pulling from the bucket of not only the culture, right? Just the music, the purist, right? You see, I got this Mos Def. I'm over here. I forgot my kufi, but real hip hop. We looking at lyrics, like intensity, flow, all of those things. Kendrick checks every box. If you ask
you're talking about
OGs,
so you're saying Not Like Us over Family Matters. This is what you're talking about when you're referencing here?
Yeah,
okay.
I would definitely say that.
Okay.
With no problem. And again, this is still saying that Family Matters is a problem, but Not Like Us, in the last verse, he's dropping jewels. It's not even like it's just him in a battle. He's still finding time because he's just like, this guy can't see me so much. I'm going to start talking about colonialism.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to start rapping about, I'm like listening to this like, yo, what is he teaching me right now? And under the guise of just destroying a rapper that he knows is not even on his level, even when he still says, okay, we're in the top 3, me, you, J. Cole, but I really don't respect either one of y'all because y'all can't really see me.
Okay.
The OGs know it. The new age know it. How many people go to battle with Kendrick? How many people go to battle with Drake? They feel they can win against Drake. They do not want any of Kendrick because they know they can't win. That's a long day.
All right. We gotta rewind a little bit. But you're lying to me.
You see, what are you talking about?
You talked about, the purist. You talked about lyrics. You talked about intensity.
Yeah.
You talked about bars. You think that there were more bars in Not Like Us than there were in Family Matters? And you talked about flow too. You think there was more than Not Like Us and Family Matters?
I think it was a whole hip hop diss record that almost was a club record.
But you didn't answer the question though.
What happened?
You think there were the lyric part?
Yeah.
Not Like Us.
Oh, yes.
More lyrical song than Family Matters.
It's one of Drake's better lyrical attempts, right? So I think we brought the standard a little down for him.
All right, now. Okay, all right. I gotta go. I gotta. We're not bringing us to that. We got to talk about it now. Okay. Listen. On Family Matters, he gives you 3 verses.
Okay.
Okay. 3 different flows, 3 different tempos, and he attacks 4 or 5 different rappers. Right? You remember that meme he posted was just a one samurai against 100 people? That's exactly what it was.
He was a samurai?
He was a samurai, right? It was just lyrical warfare, right? Listen, he said some things that I don't agree with, right? He said some stuff that I just would have never said. I don't think that's right to say that about another man. And Kendrick did the same to him on Not Like Us. But when you just look at the song itself, You cannot tell me that song is not better. In fact, he even predicted the future. What did he say? He said, Kendrick just opened his mouth. Someone go give him a Grammy right now. And what did the Grammys do? 2 years in a row, they handed it right to Kendrick.
To a Drake fan, that is a diss. Guys, you got to understand what you're dealing with. To a Drake fan saying Kendrick just opened his mouth, someone go hand him a Grammy right now. That is a diss to the things that was said in Meet the Grams and these things like that. The stuff that was said in Euphoria, this is the comeback. He's going to go on to say that him addressing all these different rappers at the same time was genius. I thought it was foolish to talk about all these different rappers when you're supposed to be talking about Kendrick. This is what Jays wants to tell us, that all this stuff is genius and brilliant.
They both lied, so I'm gonna X out both of the lies because they both told egregious lies.
If Drake had said something like, I've done, and you made this point before, I'm decades of feeding black families, probably over millions of dollars. You televised revolution, black ops, you white co-opted. You say black power, but you're only filling white pockets. That would have been a direct
Wait,
fucking
so you wrote that?
That would have been a...
Yeah, you wrote that. That's what he's telling me.
Yeah.
Okay, so
sorry, Kendrick. I love you, but I'm a rapper.
Okay,
Anyone
so
can
you
get it.
okay.
So yo, this is where it pretty much goes off the rail, gang. I'm gonna be honest. So the white guy wrote that those bars, and he said that's what Drake should have said to Kendrick, and it kind of goes off the rails from there. It ain't much else to talk about. But what I'm seeing with this thing with Jake, he is a fan of Drake, and he thinks Family Matters is just a better record. There's nothing you can tell him, this, that, and the third. Well, the people don't agree. That Family Matters record had about 20 minutes of shine. Ain't that the record that Kendrick stepped on? He did a strategic drop of his next record and completely ruined the whole. You remember Academic's face when that shit dropped? You remember how crazy he looked? Because he kept rewinding the Family Matters record. They had a whole video. Remember, they crushed the Good Kid, Mad City van. They had a whole video. He made the record, made a video. Kendrick just waited. He had the song. He had already made 10 records. He knew what the next song was going to be. He said, I'm going to wait for this nigga to respond. This nigga had the G unit chain. Remember, he was spinning the G unit chain. All this shit, that video lasts 20 seconds. And this nigga Kendrick dropped another song because he was ready for him. We had never seen nothing like this. And you remember what the Drake fans are trying to say? It's not fair. This is not fair that you had a record pre-written. They try to make all kind of rules. You can't pre-write a record. You got to wait till the record drops and then write your record. They try to make all these rules because they don't know what the fuck hip-hop is about. Right? They don't know what this battle shit's about. They think when they see a battle, a motherfucker just making it up off the top. No, it don't work like that. These motherfuckers write round for 3 months. They write round for 3 months. They got their 3 verses written already. They prepared. They waiting for you to finish your verse, and then they go with their verse. That's how it goes. We come prepared to this shit. So K-Dot was prepared. When he dropped Family Matters, he had another record for him, and then another one after that. The battle was over. Then your boy made the hard part 6 and made a fool himself. Then everybody was like, oh shit, Buddy just basically quit. And he did quit. So at the end of the day, you can't say Family Matters is a record when the whole hip-hop community shifted away from that shit in 20 fucking minutes. Wasn't that fucking good? So you want to go from personal will. You got a better flow. You want to say all this shit that's subjective to how you feel about Drake. But at the end of the day, what did the culture say? Do y'all remember all this shit happened in like 4 days? Like these records came out in like 4 days. I'm gonna be honest. If you go back and do the math, if you start looking at, okay, this dropped, that dropped the next day, 2 days later. So all this shit happened within 4 days. Nothing like that and this, that, and the third. After it got rolling, and once this guy dropped Euphoria and all that shit, everything started happening really quickly. So all this shit was like bang, 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 bang. End of the day, they started trying to make up rules that, yo, what the fuck, da da da. This homeboy lost within a matter. It wasn't that long. It wasn't that long, and he gave up throwing the towel. That was his fault. So at the end of the day, the track record is you threw in the towel with Pusha, you threw in the towel with Kendrick, but you want to give respect for this battle shit. Then you go and sue, and this homeboy Jay want to try to make it like suing is okay. You walked out of 2 battles without finishing them, and then you went and sued and got your lawyers, and the whole year you've been dealing with a lawsuit, and then you try to appeal it when they fucking dismissed it, bro. The judge know hip hop better than you, my guy. 616 in LA, 616 in LA. Dog, we need to understand. Like, we didn't understand how you feel any of this is okay. And your dad was a hip hop promoter that was there from the source. What you didn't say, Jay, was ask your dad, was it okay? All right. Jay, we heard enough of you. You feel like it's okay to sue for a rap battle. I want to know what Mr. Roebuck says. Does he say it? Because he was there when hip hop started. And tell your dad, say, Dad, what happened if Busy B would have sued Kool Moe Dee after he lost to Kool Moe Dee in the battle? What would have happened? Ask Pops. Salute the Pops. Pops around my age, probably. A little older than me. But salute the Pops because he probably knows more than what's going on. And I'm sure he's like, I'm sure he didn't raise you to think that suing in any capacity, right? That's the sad part. This is the sad part about Drake fans, gang. They gotta do all kind of mental gymnastics to be a fan. If you've watched the past 2 years, they have had to say white is black, black is yellow. They had to make everything match because nothing is adding up. They got to come up with all these excuses, and when they don't get enough excuses, they just like fuck you. Like when it become to a point that they don't have enough excuses to match up with the bullshit that's going on, it's just like F you. You guys are K-bots. That's it. So at the end of the day, what we're seeing is a guy doing all kind of gymnastics to say up is down and down is up, is in the upside down, because at the end of the day, it ain't no reason to sue no matter what you want to do. And we had these guys out here really advocating, saying you guys are supporting the label because you won't support Drake. They try to guilt us into making it seem like we were supporting the corporations because we didn't agree with the lawsuit, right? I can't believe you guys. You guys are hip hop. Drake is more hip hop than everybody because he's actually suing. He's standing up for himself. He's standing up for his rights. No, he's standing up for his own pockets, and he's trying to defame and reverse that decision by the culture that he's so desperate to be a part of. And the reason we can have all these channels that we should thank him for, because the culture hates this nigga, and that's why they come and watch our shit. And how many fucking pro Drake channels out there? Ain't that many, gang. And they don't do that well. Ain't nobody sitting there talking about good things about Drake all day and getting a whole lot of fucking, who ain't show me the channel. Put the shit in the chat where the nigga talk about Drake every fucking day and people flocking over there. I seen some of them motherfucking Drake fans that's on Twitter try to make channels, and them shits got 20 fucking subscribers and nobody watches that shit. How about that? So I want to know, yes, we do eat off of them, and it's pretty goddamn good. I'm just gonna be fucking honest. We eating a fucking whole lot of salmon over here, gang. I love me some salmon. I eat salmon every time I go out, every chance I get. So we eat good off of Drake. Okay, so he eats good off this culture. We eating good off him. End of the day, I'm gonna wrap this up because it is what it is. I don't think we need to go much further. 5 Kendrick fans, salute to them guys for doing what you do, but you gotta understand you were handicapped from the jump. This was set up so you all would get embarrassed. Right? They timed you, they edited a lot of shit you said out, and you don't know the topics when you came in. And even if you knew the topics, you're getting led up by a guy who's being low-key, he's being disingenuous. I'm just gonna be honest. A lot of stuff that Jay said, he'll do the same opposite in the end of 2 minutes later, he'll do the same thing he's telling you you're doing. Right? When you pin him to the wall, there was a lot of things these guys weren't equipped to ask him. Let's just be honest. When he going on and on about all these streams and all this stuff he's done, well, where he steal it from? Who did he get it from? How many artists are pissed off? And that 20v1, y'all keep talking about, why do 20 niggas hate the nigga? You ain't answer that shit. Since he's so motherfucking cool. Like, why was it 20v1? Well, let's talk about why the fuck every motherfucker that was on the other side of that so-called 20v1 had a fucking issue with him because he did some fuck shit to him. Who was it from? Somebody just had a little issue with him. He wouldn't follow their sister on fucking Instagram doing fuck shit. Right? How many of these niggas he tried to get at their girl? And wasn't it Rick Ross' baby mom he just had on the fucking, some fucking gave her some gift and flew her somewhere? Gang, what conversation we talking about? Right? End of the day, this dude does shit to people that make them want to fucking diss him and do this, that, and the third. That's why everybody came out. So let's have that conversation. At the end of the day, we've been had this shit. End of the day, man, it ain't nothing else to talk about. Put it like this. It was 5 Kendrick fans. Yes, it was. I don't even know what they fan, because one of the homeboys like, I like them both. It is what it is. So end of the day, it take more to this situation than to just be a guy that goes on Twitter and says negative shit about Drake. It don't work like that, because a lot of time they regurgitating stuff that don't have no context. There's just like fucking innuendos and speculation. End of the day, there are real things that really happen. So when you get up there and you say he did this and that for Party Next Door, you're gonna say, really, motherfucker, how long this nigga been waiting for this shit? He got one fucking album in all these years. You said his best stuff, he gave it to Rihanna. Well, his best stuff, he gave it to fucking Drake. Okay, let's just be fucking honest. Weekend ran out of there screaming and shit. These motherfuckers shot up his fucking house at some point. Okay, so end of the day, it's a whole lot of shit going on, allegedly, right? It's a whole lot of shit going on that Jay not touching on. He's just like, this guy has the greatest streaming record in history. He's got all the records, all the sales, He's been killing it. He came off the biggest tour of his life. Yeah, you sure? Right? And Kendrick just beat that tour, right? Faster. The nigga did 80 shows. Drake did 80 shows to get all of that fucking shit. The motherfucking slave driving to pay back the $400 million that he got from UMG. He had a 360 deal. This is what them niggas wasn't equipped to deal with. Because they don't do this every day. They're regular people, gang. They wouldn't have stood a chance. That's why the shit was rigged from the jump. They didn't stand a chance because they don't talk about this shit on a regular basis. I do. And I know when you're being disingenuous. I know when you're saying bullshit, Jay. But salute to you for being you stood there, you did your thing, you held your own, and you didn't try to fucking embarrass these niggas. But end of the day, this shit was one-sided and rigged because they was unprepared. They was unprepared. They're not going to be able to counteract the stuff that you were doing to them when you were trying to say, oh, did he say that? Well, did he really say that? Well, did any artist actually say that? Well, it's more to the story, right? Like I told you earlier, the artists that did speak up got beat up. Quentin Miller, Drum. So it's a lot more to the story that Jay's not telling you. This guy's a menace in this industry. So no, he's not the most influential. This nigga does a lot of shit to be looked at as that. A lot of fuck shit. They got a whole fucking court case now, a class action lawsuit saying that all that money from Stake, he took that shit and made a whole and bought a whole lot of bots. But we're not gonna bring that up. Let the courts deal with that. I don't even want to talk about that because what you're gonna say is, yo, can you prove it? No, I can't fucking prove it. But at the end of the day, it's still out there. Ain't nobody else got no lawsuits against him but this nigga. Okay, so while we sitting there celebrating him and telling him he the fucking greatest thing since sliced bread, let's have the whole conversation, not this one side of shit that this nigga's the greatest fucking rapper, the greatest current hip hop artist, whatever the fuck you was trying to say. I'm gonna leave it at that, man. CLBMG. Head on over to Black-Yeti, man. Everybody head on over to black-yeti.com. Let them know who sent you, man. Every Wednesday night we go live on the What Show. We ain't go live this week. We didn't go live. We going live tomorrow night though. We gonna talk about some shit, but we're going to be there tomorrow night, lock in. We got a video called This, That, all right? Make sure you get in the comments of that This, That video. Let us know what you think. Also, we got an album called The What Project. Meet TJ and Fliz on all streaming platforms. Lock in. Let niggas know, man, it is what it is. Listen, man, I appreciate y'all rocking with me, man. Man, get some sleep. I know a lot of y'all got to work tomorrow. I apologize for having y'all up this late, but it is what it is, man. Let me know what y'all think in these comments, man. I'm out of here. I'm going to catch y'all on that flip. Peace.